Under cloudy skies and muggy weather from Memorial Stadium in Baltimore, Maryland, CBS Sports presents the Philadelphia Eagles and the Baltimore Colts. Hello, everyone. I'm Tim Ryan, and joining me this afternoon on the telecast are two players who've been on these two teams out here today. Roman Gabriel, a former Philadelphia Eagle, and Tom Addy, former Baltimore Colt. Welcome, gentlemen. I know today that we are seeing a team, Tom, the Baltimore Colts, that you've got to feel sorry for with all of the crippling injuries they've had.
They sure have been plagued with a lot of injuries, Tim, and the big one was Burt Jones. And this is the guy that they're hoping for coming back within the next couple of weeks. But he's the key to this offense and the key to this team, and right now he's out. It'll
be Bill Troup at quarterback. And Roman, of course, excitement in Philadelphia. They've won 2 in a row. They're 2-2. Coming off a win against Miami, things look good there.
Well, Jim, it's the first time since I've been around the Eagles that they look as though they feel confident. I don't know whether that's good or bad, especially coming into this stadium.
Well, we'll find out today, and their quarterback, of course, will be the Polish rifle, Ron Jaworski. And we're getting set for the kickoff, so let's go down to the field here. The Colts will defend to our left in their home blue uniforms, and the Colts have won the toss. The Philadelphia Eagles will be to our right in white. And we have 73 degrees here for the 1st of October, a very muggy day, very humid, threatening skies, rain predicted for later this afternoon. It is just cloudy and very overcast at the moment. The Eagles are 2-2. A year ago, they had a 5-9 season under Dick Vermeil, and now his third year as head coach. The Colts 1-3 last year, a 10-4 club in the playoffs. The 4th year for Ted Marchibroda as head coach. They have just been racked with injuries. On injured reserve, their starting offensive tackles, Coons and Taylor. They have Nelson Munsey, a starting quarterback, gone for the year. They have backup defensive men Herb Orvis, Ron Fernandez, rookie Mike Woods gone for the year. And, of course, Burt Jones still out, probably for at least another week, maybe 2 or 3. And their linebacker, Stan White, who is dressed today but is bothered with a knee injury and not likely to see action. It has just been that kind of a miserable season so far for the Baltimore Colts. The Eagles are disgustingly healthy. They have only one man out of action. That is their punt returner, Wally Henry, who's gone for the season. And otherwise, they are in excellent physical condition, and they are showing it, as last week they defeated the Miami Dolphins 17-3. Dick Vermeil called it his biggest win as a head coach in the National Football League. Bederson is the deep man, and Billy Campfield as Tony Linhart kicks it off, and we are underway. It is coming to Bederson, number 34, taking it at the 8-yard line. Pulls his way over the 25 to about the 27, where he is stopped by Mike Ozdowski, the reserve defensive end, and Ozdowski, the number 2 pick a year ago. So the Eagles will bring up Ron Jaworski at quarterback. Wilbert Montgomery and Mike Hogan are the running backs. Montgomery has had 2 100-yard games. The wide receivers are Carmichael and Payne, and the tight end is Keith Prefley. We may have a change at the split receiver position. We'll see whether it is Charles Smith, number 85. And there is their offensive line, one of the very good ones in the National Football League. First down, Eagles. Montgomery over the 30 to the 32 before he's pushed back by the safety, number 44, Lyle Blackwood, and the linebacker, number 54, Sanders Shiver. Shiver starting in the position normally occupied by Stan White. A gain of 5 on the play, 2nd and 5. Defensively for Baltimore, the sack pack off to a slow start but played well last week against Buffalo. Cook, Barnes, Ehrman, and Dutton. The linebackers are Darrell Luce, Ed Simonini, and Shiver. And the secondary, Lloyd Mumford, Doug Nettles, Bruce Laird, and Lyle Blackwood. We have Nelson Munsey out and Norm Thompson bothered with a knee injury, not starting today. Hogan, number 35, gets near the 40-yard line, got only about to the line of scrimmage before he was stacked up by Shiver, ranging over from the right side, and David Rowe, who is in that defensive front for the Baltimore Colts. This telecast is presented by authority of the National Football League. It's intended for the private use of our audience. Any rebroadcast or other use of the telecast without the express written consent of the Baltimore Colts of the National Football League is prohibited. First third down play for the Philadelphia Eagles. 3rd and 3. Sideline, Carmichael, incomplete. Well, Roman, would that be a play you would expect in that situation? 3rd down for the Eagles?
Yeah, because this kind of play fits in with Vermeil's philosophy. Run the ball, try to get 3 or 4 yards, get a third and short situation, and come to the big guy on a short out, which evidently he was covered very well there.
What they're doing on that, Tim, right there is they're going to be double teaming up on Carmichael quite a bit today. What they call either a weak side zone rotated into him, or they'll use what they call a double zone coverage, where the front man comes up and hits him, and the safety comes over and takes a deep outside.
Rick Engels will be the punter. He has been signed 3 times this season by Philadelphia and was signed for the 3rd time just yesterday. Marshall Johnson of the Colts on the run, grabs the ball, nicely recovered on an alert play at the 31 by Lyle Blackwood, who came back deep to back up the punt receiver. 35-yard punt by Engels, a 1-yard return by Blackwood. Bill Troup is the quarterback. Roosevelt Leaks and Joe Washington are the starting running backs, and the crowd gave Washington quite a hand as he came out his first game as a starter. Washington, the ball carrier, gets wide and is stopped by number 51, Reggie Wilkes, the right side linebacker in the Philadelphia 3-4 after a gain of 5. The wide receivers are Dowdy and Carr. Mac Alston, number 83, is the tight end for Baltimore. And across the front, playing those tackles positions are Bob Van Dyne and Wade Griffin. The regular guards, Pratt and Huff, and the center is Ken Mendenhall. 2nd down and 5. Joe Washington, who had himself quite an afternoon last week against Buffalo, rushed 12 times for 80 yards, most of that in the second half. He did not play but 1 play in the first half. Washington again. Misdirection play. Gets up to the 40-yard line. It'll be 3rd and 1. John Bunting, number 95, made the tackle. And across that Eagles defense, the 3-4, Manny Sistrunk, Charlie Johnson, Carl Hairston, 79, 65, and 78. Their 4 linebackers are Bunting, Berge, and Lamaster in the middle, and Reggie Wilkes starting for Drew Mahalik on the right side. Ron Lee is in the lineup at running back with Roosevelt Leaks in the 3rd and short. Well, at the 40 of Baltimore. Leaks has the first down, pushed back, but he had the yardage, and Baltimore will have the first down of the day.
This front 3, as they call it, instead of a front 4, is by Burt Jones. And talking to him prior to the game, I had the opportunity to ask him what he really thought about the Philadelphia defense, and he felt that it's the strongest line from tackle to tackle, including the inside linebackers that are in the NFL, Gabe. You know, what about your outside linebackers? You know, these guys are pretty good too, I think.
Well, in this 34 setup, they have 2 of the best, and John Bunting, and of course now Mihalik's not playing, but they have a good rookie in Reggie Wilkes.
It is first down, Baltimore at their own 41-yard line. Washington back in, and he has the ball. Washington is met right at the line of scrimmage by Manny Sistrunk, number 79. Got maybe a yard on the play, and it'll be 2nd and 9 for the Colts. Bill Troup, the quarterback from South Carolina in his 5th year, a former Eagle. Went back and forth between the Eagles and Colts a couple of times. Last acquired by a trade in 1976 from the Eagles. Passing at 46.7%, 35 out of 75. Had quite a game against New England. Second half comeback by the Colts, and they're only good. They give him a gain of 2 on the play. Forward progress, 2nd and 8. First pass attempt by Troup. Roger Carr has it. Is he inbounds? Yes. Complete at the 50-yard line. A gain of 5 on the play.
I tell you what there, Tom, they were fortunate. He threw that ball right into coverage. It's a wonder it wasn't picked off.
It was. I'll tell you, here's a pass play right here. As you can see, Troup's setting up. It's a weak side flare to the weak side, and Troup really drills that ball, but you can see the defensive back. If it would have been underthrown, that was 6 points, Tim.
46 is Herman Edwards, the right side cornerback. Johnny Outlaw, number 20 on the left side. Logan, 41. Sanders, 26 are the safeties. Reggie Wilkes, the number 1 pick this year by the Eagles from Georgia Tech. Number 51 is the right side linebacker for Drew Mahalik. What a catch by Roosevelt Leaks, and he has the first down. Bill Berge made the tackle, and he was all over Leaks, who made quite a grab.
I'll tell you, Leaks got nailed by Berge, and you don't like to get hit by that big man. He makes it. Here's the catch right here, Roman.
Tommy, watch where Berge is. He probably reads as well, if not better, than most middle linebackers ever played the game. They check the back down, something like you used to do, except you were a little bit faster than that.
Got to have that speed. I was noted for that. You know that.
That's right. You made the big plays.
It is first down, Baltimore. Coming out in the I formation, leaks the lead back. Joe Washington behind him, number 27. Baltimore moving the ball. Good block by Leaks. Washington squirts out near the 40-yard line of the Eagles for a gain of about 5.
All right, again, here's Washington. He has that speed. He has probably one of the best starts. A good block, little hole in there, cuts back to the inside. He adds a new dimension to this ball club, which we have not had here in a long time, Gabe. He's got the speed to get around the corner and get some momentum going for the ball club.
I tell you, too, it's difficult to get outside on that 34 defense, but with a guy like Washington, with that speed, if he can do it, they can run on the Eagles.
Second and let's call it 6. Gave him about 4.5. Washington has rushed for 16 yards already, has the ball there, slipped down at the line of scrimmage. There was no hold as the Eagles stacked up the blocking on the left side of the Baltimore line. He got maybe 2 just by falling forward. And Washington, who had that outstanding game against New England, had another great afternoon against Buffalo, and right now he has 124 yards rushing on 34, I'm looking at Lee's stats. He has rushed 31 times for 158 yards coming into today's game, and as we mentioned earlier, it was 12 for 80 last week against the Buffalo Bills. Third down, about 3. Troup will throw. Deep drop. Swings out to Lee. What a play by LeMaster. The linebacker number 55 who read that perfectly.
There's a flag on the play, too, Tim.
Well, LeMaster, if he had been able to squeeze it, had a big 6 in front of him.
Right down the sideline.
Flag down. Interference called against the Baltimore Colts. Offensive interference.
Penalty against the Colts.
You know, Tim, Tom was speaking about the Eagles' front defensive line and how strong they are. In the last 2 weeks, I understand they've held their opponents under 90 yards gained, which is difficult to do in this league.
Last week against Miami, 84 yards rushing, all the Dolphins could get.
Number 27 offense declined, 4th down.
Washington, the guilty party. The Dolphins only got 76 yards through the air, and the Eagles sacked them 3 times and picked off 3 passes of Don Strotz. So David Lee will punt. The Colts had a good drive going, but the Eagles stop them with the help from a penalty, but a big play there by LeMaster. John Sharrock, number 21, stands on the 10-yard line. Lee, a good punter, should be able to get it to the end zone. He'll try to angle for the short one, but it's going in. Lands on the one. Look at the hop.
Oh, my goodness.
The ball took a cold hop and goes out at the 3-yard line. I had it already in the end zone. The ball landed on the goal line. Took a Baltimore bump. So we're scoreless with the Eagles starting from the 3. Following our football telecast, the World Series of Golf from Akron, Ohio coming up. Hubert Green, the leader after yesterday's round, leading by 2 coming into the action today. You'll see it here on CBS after the NFL. Tim Ryan, Tom Matty, and Roman Gabriel from Memorial Stadium in Baltimore. A great punt by David Lee. He backed it up just like a good wedge shot. And Hubert Green might throw in there, and it's first down on the 3 for the Eagles. Hogan and Montgomery are the running backs. Montgomery out over the 5 to the 6-yard line. Lyle Blackwood, number 44, is there. Underneath that pile is number 56, Ed Simonini, and Sanders Shiver, 54.
You know, in a play like this down on the goal line, what happens is there's such a great movement in the direction of where that ball carrier is running that if that ball carrier cuts back against the grain, you usually pick up a lot of yardage because you're getting arm tackles there. And that's exactly what he did to give him a good second down. He picked up 4 yards on that play. That's a good play this close in that end zone.
2nd and 6 for the Eagles. Wilbert Montgomery has had 2 100-yard days for the Eagles, including last week against Miami, 111. He has the ball again, a good hole, and he dances out over the 10 to the 13, maybe 14-yard line. John Dutton ranging back to make the hit with the safety Lyle Blackwood, 44, coming up.
The Eagles coming into this ball game were concerned with Mike Barnes, number 63, because of the strength and the kind of football he's been playing. So I think we'll see him run into their left side more than they will going at Barnes' side.
Well, you know, Barnes last year, I guess he got that Bulldog Award by fellow players, the offensive linemen, as the best defensive lineman in the NFL. And, you know, seeing this guy, he's just a big, giant hulk of a guy. And he's got this baby face, but, boy, he's a tough football player, Tim.
You know who the Eagle players relate him to is Doug Atkins, an old foe of ours. They say that they've seen this Barnes jump over people like Atkins used to. Of course, Atkins was about 6'9". I don't think Barnes is quite that tall.
Atkins, we used to call him the tree trunk.
There are more Doug Atkins stories.
Oh, yeah.
He's a
Football
legend by himself.
From you ex-players, that is the truth. I've never heard one player talk about more than Doug Atkins. First down on some fine running by Wilbert Montgomery as the Eagles get out of the hole over the 10-yard line. They're now at the 13, and this is Montgomery again. Ran into his own blocker, but pulls his way forward over the 20. He's finally pulled down by Doug Nettles, number 30. Right side cornerback.
Again here, Gabe, you can see the offensive line. It's just an off-tackle play, and look at the blocking out in front up there.
They got Wade Key, number 72, and 35, Hogan, leading that play well. And, of course, Montgomery's a fine runner with a low base, just like you had. People couldn't block you off your feet either.
He's still got a low base.
Oh, you guys are bad.
Wilbert Montgomery, second-year man from Abilene Christian. He had 76 touchdowns in his college career. And Dick Vermeil is more than slightly pleased with the progress of this young man in his second year as a pro. 2nd and 1. Impressive running by Montgomery, and again he has the first down, and single-handedly, with the help of some great blocking, he has brought the Eagles out from the shadow of their goal line. They are now at the 27. The New York Giants leading Atlanta 17-7 in the second period. The Falcons with some problems. The Giants having plenty of fun. 3-1 coming in here today.
St. Louis 10-10 at halftime. The last score was a 50-yard pass from Doug Williams to Morris Owens. That's that young quarterback down there.
Minnesota and Tampa Bay that was. So Minnesota 10 and Tampa Bay 7. And the touchdown by Williams. The touchdown pass from Williams for Owens. This is Harold Carmichael. Incomplete. Colts played it as a fumble, but the officials ruled Carmichael did not have complete possession as he was hit hard by Bruce Laird, number 40.
This is a fine play here. The Cardinals run this play quite a bit. They sent Charlie Smith in motion to the right side to bring the defense strong right and come back to Harold Carmichael, who, if he holds onto the ball, the Eagles have a big gain.
That was Simonini who picked it up, playing it as a fumble, but it is 2nd and 10. Eagles still with the ball. We should mention that David Rowe, starting for Joe Ehrman, has now been replaced by Ehrman. Ehrman into the ball game, and Ehrman, number 76, the regular starter, missed a lot of practice this week because of some family problems, and Rowe just picked up from Oakland on waivers, got the start today. I'm sure we'll see more of him. Montgomery spinning out to the 35-yard line, short of the first down yardage. Simonini put the stop on him, and boy, Montgomery off to some start.
Again, Tim, this guy has that quick speed like Joe Washington does. He hits that trap up to the inside, good blocking at the point of attack, and he just rips up about 8 or 9 yards on that one.
That's a fine block by Wade Key, 72. He's improved so much for the Eagles and become very consistent at that left guard spot.
Walters and Sizemore, the veteran tackles. Key and Woody Peoples, 10-year man from Grambling, are the guards. Guy Morris, the center. It is a solid veteran offensive line. 3rd down and 2. Montgomery again. He's going to be tired at the end of this game. This time the Colts, with excellent lateral pursuit, pull him down right at the line of scrimmage, and he did not make the first down. Mike Barnes, number 63, put the grab on him. Pittsburgh leading the Jets 14-10 in the second period. New York without Richard Todd, gone for the season. Matt Robinson, the starter there today at quarterback. Pat Leahy has kicked a field goal for the Jets to pull them to 14-10. Montgomery has 33 yards and 6 carries.
That's not bad. Start the day in the first quarter. 33 yards.
He lugged him right out from the 3-yard line, but the Colts stopped him, and they will have to punt. Engels will be the punter, standing at the 21. Marshall Johnson awaiting it at the Colts 29. Bobbled by Engels. Now he throws an underhanded pass. It's complete, but the Colts will have the ball. As number 71, Ozdowski, put the tackle on Richard Osborne, number 86. It looked to me like he still had time to kick it.
He still has time to kick it.
Right here.
And he just gets absolutely you know, he's got plenty of time. The pressure's coming in. There's Laird.
I wish I could completed some of those in my career. That's 86, Osborne making the grab. Wouldn't it have been something they get the first down on the play like that?
Oh, my goodness.
Well, I tell you, he's lucky that didn't go for an interception all the way to the end zone, because a one-handed looper like that, underhanded, that could easily have been picked off by the Colts. But they have field position at the 35 of Philadelphia. Leaks and Washington, the running backs. Joe Washington trying the wide right. Good defensive play by Philadelphia. And he got maybe 3 before he was stopped trying to make the corner. Let's see who that first man is on him. It looks like bunting number 95. The first man to hit him was Logan, number 41, the safety.
Doubt he didn't stay with his block on that time. If he'd have stayed with it, he had enough time for Joe to cut up to the inside on that one, didn't he, Gabe?
I think so too, Tom. And this is the kind of thing the Eagles have been preaching: gang tackling, a lot of pursuit. And I believe that's why they've become such a great defensive unit.
Dick Vermeil acknowledges his problems at the punting position. As we mentioned, Ingles has been signed 3 times by the club, and he had Mitch Hoops in there back with the club after having been cut. He was at practice on Friday, and he didn't like what he saw there, and he brought Ingles back. But he'd like a more experienced man at that position. Leaks is stopped by that tough Eagles defense.
You know, the crowd is getting a little upset again. They like him to throw on that first down or second down, and they just keep punting it up the middle. They've got this great field position. Why not try to capitalize on it? Right? What would you do, Gabe?
Got to go on top. You know, you're 1-3. Been trying to run the football for 4 games, and that's not bringing it anywhere. Let's get some points on the board.
Speaking of upsets, look at that San Diego score over New England halftime.
Coryell doing the job.
He found a home. 3rd down, 6 to go. Ball at the 30-yard line. Troup will throw. He's got time. Swings it out. Popped by the tight end Alston. Forced out at the 25-yard line. It'll be close to first down yardage. Let's see. He is just short.
Again, right here, Tim, you can see what Troup's trying to do. He's trying to clear it out. The tight end just stays in there, releases. You can see all the open area that he has right there. Another good tackle.
Nice one-handed catch by Alston. The hit was made by Logan.
And they're going for it.
The Eagles had their 5 backs in there then and left the fullback uncovered.
Double tight ends in now. Reese McCall, the rookie from Auburn, has come in to join Alston for blocking. Leaks and Ron Lee are the running backs. Ron Lee, 6'4", 228, big man in there on this short yardage play on 4th down. Troup keeps it. Rolling. And I tell you, if he got it, it's going to be very close. Troup not noted for speed of foot. I rather like the call, but Troup just didn't really generate a lot of speed, but they're going to measure.
Look who was out there to make that tackle.
Oh, the old man on that defense over there.
Number 66.
Mr. Berge. He hit him, too.
Boy, is he some football player.
I'll tell you, Troup's hurting on that. He's bent over there. I think he might have got his bell rung on that one.
He is bent, period.
Boy, somebody's got to teach those quarterbacks they can't run over those big guys.
You should know. They stopped him.
Short of the first down. Bill Berge came up to stop Troup, and Troup is sore both physically and mentally right now as the Eagles will take over first down.
Bart Starr and the good old Green Bay Packers are out in front again, 7-0 over Detroit on a 1-yard run by Barty Smith. It's first period.
Green Bay 3-1. They could continue to be tied for first place in the NFC Central with a victory today. First down, Eagles after stopping the Colts on 4th down. This is Montgomery. Look at him dance. Out over the 30-yard line at the 32 before Bruce Laird, number 40, hauled him down.
You know what's interesting here, Tom, is the Eagles on first down keep running, and the Colts show more blitzing on first down, which should stop the run, but they're not doing it.
Here's just a great cut right in here. And this guy right here that made that tackle, Bruce Laird, is, one of my little adopted guys. He played with me the last couple of years. And he'll come up and hit you. He'll give you 120% on that field, but when you have that open field tackle, it's sort of tough to bring a guy like Montgomery down.
Yeah.
2nd and 3. The Colts have got 4 linebackers in. Calvin O'Neill, number 51, has come in, and Dave Rowe, the tackle, has gone out. This is Hogan. Hogan spins away from one tackler, is stopped short of the first down by Simonini and Calvin O'Neill, 56 and 51.
That's pretty close. We may have a first down out of that.
Could be, yes indeed. It looked short, but he got a good placement on his forward progress. O'Neill, the fourth linebacker, a sixth pick last year out of Michigan, was on injured reserve with a neck injury last year, and the head coach Ted Marchibotto likes this young man, Calvin O'Neill.
The Eagles are set up in this wing set they've been working on all week.
Roll back into the game for the Colts on first down for the Eagles. At the 35. Montgomery. Hauled down from behind by Ed Simonini, that little linebacker, only 6 feet tall, 210 from Texas A&M.
This little guy, you know, they say that he can't play because he's too small, but, you know, I've watched him, you know, living here in Baltimore. This kid is a competitor. He's all over the field. He's got great upper body strength, but he's just small, okay?
Well, look at Leroy Jordan, how long he hung around for the Cowboys.
Exactly.
And he couldn't have weighed more than a wet towel.
Montgomery got only a half a yard. It'll be second and 9.5. And the gun sounds here. Ending the first period in Memorial Stadium. We have no score. Tim Ryan with Roman Gabriel and Tom Matty in Baltimore. And there's a baseball score for you. Cleveland ahead of New York 3-2. Yanks have clinched at least a tie. If they lose and Boston wins, there'll be a playoff in the American League East. We are scoreless here at the end of the first quarter, and the Eagles will now defend to our left in white, the Colts to our right in blue. Robert Montgomery, Mike Hogan are the running backs, Ron Jaworski the quarterback. Jaworski will run out of that pocket. He's got lots of real estate ahead of him, and a nice hook slide into the 50-yard line. He has a first down on that scramble. A ball picked up by Harrison, but Jaworski was down.
All right, here he is right here setting up. Watch the speed that this guy has, Gabe. I don't remember you running this fast.
Always look for people to hit, so I wouldn't have to go too far. But what do you think about this, Tom? I know they teach quarterbacks to do this, but look at there. A guy can get hurt worse than that.
I tell you, you can get spiked when you go down on it like that. And they legally have it. They can really go in and hit you.
I think so. I don't know whether that's a good idea or not.
Well, they can hit you, that's for sure. You can be down. But the Sanders Shiver, who was the guy that did put the contact on him, but it's a first down Eagles. Near the 50, play action, rush on him, he's sacked. Mike Barnes, number 63, barreling through off the stunt.
Gabe, you can see right here what they're going to do on that first down. As you said, they're coming.
Yeah, here they come with very little protection here. Woody Peoples, 69, couldn't handle Barnes, and this is a guy you've told me about. It's a super athlete. Jaworski had very little time to look for anybody.
Big loss, about 8 yards. It'll be second and 18. The ball at the Eagles' 41-yard line. Jaworski was 0 for 2 in the first quarter. 4 linebackers in now. Calvin O'Neill has come in. Ehrman is out. Carmichael wide left. Charles Smith, 85, is wide right. Play action again. Montgomery running hard. Hauled down at the 47-yard line by Fred Cook, number 72.
Here's a great shot, if we can have this back again, of what we call the double zone, where both of the outside men you'll be able to see come up, and you'll see both safeties going back to deep outside. The screen is set up over to the left. What would you do when you're going to see this kind of double zone, Gabe?
Well, generally, they give you the middle area. Your tight end, your backs on the linebackers, Tom, I think are the areas you try to go to.
I think you're going to see Jaworski, seeing the Colts going to this type defense, you're going to see him going to the backs and the tight end a lot.
Third down, and he needs about 13 yards for a first down. Colts are coming, but he's got time. Complete to Hogan. Hogan out near the first down yardage. I think he has it at the 40. Darrell Luce, number 58, on the tackle. Lyle Blackwood coming up to help.
This is just good timing and good concentration on Hogan's part, because I think it's Mumford, 42, comes over and almost intercepts the pass. That's all you can say there. Just fine timing and a good catch.
I just think the ball was just thrown perfectly there. And this is just extra effort on a running back part. He's just short of that first down, but I'll tell you one thing. He got that last 3 yards by himself. And it's going to be close. Let's see if he got it. I think he's short. I'm going to take a guess.
Well, when he lunged forward, I thought they'd give it to him with the placement of the ball, but it's going to be just a little short.
Are they going to go for it?
Did you see Barnes' signal out there?
Yeah.
He put about 3 feet out there, and it's got about 2 inches.
There they got Osborne and Betterson coming in, so I guess they're going to go for it.
It's early in the game. I tell you might as well take the chances now. If the Eagles want to continue their winning ways, they've got to take some chances like this.
I agree with you, Tom.
Richard Osborne, number 86, makes a double tight end.
What about a little Bart Starr action right now, or a little Johnny U?
Colts with the extra linebacker in and the defensive back out, short yardage. Betterson, a bigger back than Montgomery in there with Hogan in. Going for it is Jaworski, flags everywhere. And you can see John Dutton, number 78, looked like he wanted to take the ball away.
All right, I think that the Colts are offside, lined up offsides.
Well, Starr and Unitas ran that play well, too.
You know, the thing about Starr and Unitas, Gabe, that they used to do a lot, you used to do this, was in a situation like that, everybody is down, keyed up for that first, that short yardage situation, and boy, they have people dive in there, and all of a sudden you see little Jimmy Orr tickling
Offside,
down.
defense,
6 points.
first down.
6 points.
But that's guts,
Yeah.
I don't know if these guys. It was crazy too.
The coaches are calling the plays here today. That may have something to do with it.
Computer won't call one like that.
That's right. Both these teams call the plays for their quarterbacks. First down, Eagles. Fred Wyatt is the referee. We'll give you those other officials. We have been negligent in that regard so far. Hogan and Betterson still the running backs. This is Betterson trying to get outside, cannot do it. Excellent defense by the Colts on that play. Bruce Laird coming up from safety to put the hit on James Betterson, number 34.
Now we got a score here. Los Angeles 6, New Orleans nothing, first period. My man Laird came up and forced that again. He is one tough guy. I'll tell you, he goes about 190 pounds, and he is nothing but wire and muscle out there, and he loves to force those plays around the corner.
Betterson still managed to get 3 out of it. It's 2nd and 7. Again, the 4th linebacker in for the Colts. Betterson and Hogan, the running backs. They're getting a little bit of a rest, well deserved. This is Hogan. Hogan picks his way behind the blocking of Walters, number 75, and it was David Rowe, number 74, defensively for the Colts. He got about 3 more on the play. Let's call it 3rd and 3.5.
You know, if you're a coach sitting in the press box, you can almost get a tendency on the Colts. First down, blitz. Eagles maybe should throw. 2nd and long, double zone. Come down the middle of the tight end of the backs.
Tight end of the backs coming out of the backfield. We got an update on the halftime score of the Pittsburgh Jets game. It's 21-10. Pittsburgh up in front again.
That shot, a Swan for the touchdown. 3rd down here. This is Jaworski. Rolling out, intended for Hogan, a little bit behind him. He could not hold on. Doug Nettles, number 30, on the coverage.
That makes Jaworski 2 for 5 now, 19 yards. He just threw that ball behind him, Gabe, and that's a hard ball to catch for a back.
Yeah, it's very difficult, and that looked like the play was designed to get Hogan outside. They had the double zone, but that time Hogan's lined up on the extra defensive back who was put in there for a linebacker. He had him beat, though.
It'll be 4th down. Gabe, one thing I think it's fair to say that Ron would rather be planted to throw. He does not throw real well on the run.
Right, I think you would say he's more of a drop back than he is a sprint out.
So they'll try the field goal. Nick Mickemeyer. John Shara will hold the ball. Shara, the former UCLA star under Dick Vermeil. It's from the 26-yard line, is well short. A 36-yard try is missed by Nick Mickemeyer. And so the Colts take over, and we are still scoreless in a defensive struggle as both these defenses have played effectively. The Eagles have been able to run it, but can't keep it going. Tim Ryan with Tom Matte and Roman Gabriel in Baltimore. We are scoreless. Nick Mickemeyer has just missed a 36-yard field goal attempt. Baltimore takes over at the line of scrimmage, their own 29. Roger Carr, 81, is wide left. Leaks and Washington are the running backs. Troup throwing first down. Lots of time. Up the middle. Complete to Glenn Doughty. Doughty with running room. He can go. He's pulled down at the 26-yard line. A big gainer for Glenn Doughty.
This is what the fans have been crying for. Pass on first down. And look what they got from it.
The tackle, but a big gainer.
Here you are right here. Troup coming across. Play action. He sets up. It's just what they call a post pattern. Coming right across to the inside.
Right
Good
there,
catch.
Tom.
Looks at it. Looks it in.
Two things that play action did. Gave him time to throw and kept the linebackers up tight.
A 46-yard gain. Troup to Doughty. First down at the Philadelphia 25. Hit shot. Leaks. Washington blocking. Leaks. Bulls his way over the 20 to the 18. Frank LeMaster, number 55, made the tackle. Gain of about 5.
I have a question for you, Tommy. You keep talking about the Colts running the ball, and I remember when you played 3 or 4 games at quarterback when Quazzo and Unitas were hurt, you never threw the ball. All you did was throw.
That's right.
I mean, all you did was run. You never threw.
It was roll right and roll left.
That's right. Here you are talking about having throw the football.
Well, when you guys are home relaxing on Monday night, you're going to be watching WKRP in Cincinnati. I'm sure that is some funny new show, followed by the beautiful Phyllis Georgian people, and then MASH one day at a time, and Lou Grant. Big hits from last season. 2nd and 5. Joe Washington.
Washington carried.
Got short of the first down, picked up about 3. Manny Sistrunk, number 79, and Carl Hairston, 78, are there to put the stop on him. Joe Washington from Oklahoma, who really became the star he was expected to be at San Diego, but he is really doing it here. Reese McCall is in the double tight end situation. Ron Lee replaces.
How about a little fake to the fullback and hit the halfback going up the sideline?
That's right.
3rd and 1. They'll run the short yardage play, boys. Ron Lee. Lee has the first down. Colts keep it going.
Carried the ball.
That's not a Ted Marcher protocol, and you guys.
I know
Tackled by Williams.
That's not fair, Tim. You got the inside dope.
Sanders and Williams on the tackle for the Eagles. They're going to measure. Looked to me like he had it
Officials
clearly.
time.
They have placed the ball where it has to be measured.
Again, it was that great lateral movement by the defensive line of the Eagles. They just going right down that line. Didn't give him very much. It was a short yardage situation. But I think oh, does he have it or doesn't he? He does not.
I'm about 0 for 4. Colin.
They're really doing a great job.
I should sit back and wait for the officials, obviously, because I haven't called one right yet. I think the players might have agreed with me on a few. So it is 4th and short. Big play for Baltimore here, and likewise for the Eagles. We are scoreless here in the 2nd period, 8:16 remaining.
Who's that giant? Number 68 just went in for Frank LeMaster.
Dennis Harrison.
Jeez.
And he is 6'8", 275, the number 2 pick of the Eagles from Vanderbilt. Muscle up front.
Quarterback sneak?
I would have to. Percentage shot.
I don't think they'll run him wide this time. Bill Troup at quarterback for the injured Burt Jones. The give to Ron Lee, and big Ron Lee has the first down. Bill Berkey put the hit on him, and Lee used all 230 pounds to get the first down for the Colts.
Somebody on the right side of that Colts line opened up a nice hole.
Kenny Huff, number 62, and Bob Van Dyne, number 67, the right side.
You're not kidding. Here he is, a fullback leading right in there. Leach just plows in.
Anytime you can get your fullback on a free safety like Deke Sanders, you're going to make yards.
So they got it on 4th instead of 3rd. Slot formation left. Doughty in the slot. Baltimore first down at the 13 of the Eagles. Doughty in motion back to the ball. Pitch out Leaks. Good block. Leaks blasts into the 6-yard line.
Roosevelt Leaks.
Good block by little Joe Washington on Sanders, and it was number 78, Carl Hairston, putting the tackle on him.
Watch this block on 51 Wilkes, the outside linebacker. He's down there. I don't know who that is, the outside receiver.
Joe Washington came out there.
2nd down.
But Mr. Leaks is carrying that ball like a loaf of bread. I'd have to jump on him about that one.
2nd and 4. The ball now at the 7-yard line of Philadelphia.
What do you tell a back?
Tuck it away.
Or eat it or what?
I'd do something with it. You don't carry it out there. That's when you get those fumbles, and this is where you're going in on a score. You sure don't want to make any big mistake like that.
Leads Washington, the running backs. Joe Washington trying to slice through off tackle, gets inside the 5. Looked like he had a little more room wide there.
But he flows so smooth when he comes across, Gabe, and you could just see him sort of bouncing and gliding, and all of a sudden he saw that to the inside, and he just turned that thing up there.
Bill Berge again on the tackle. As
He's so
usual,
quick.
right in the middle of everything. Later baseball score. The Indians now lead the Yankees 6-2, bottom of the 2nd. We don't have to tell baseball fans that the Yanks have clinched the tie, but it keeps the Red Sox hopes alive. We do not have a score yet between the Red Sox and the Blue Jays. The call has come in to join Alston as a double tight end here. Again, short yardage, 3rd and 1. Leaks, what a hit him. As he had the first down, it was Hairston, number 78, straightening him up. And this time I'm going to wait and see whether they got it.
Here it is, right up the middle. And he gets nailed right there, but Leaks keeps those legs driving. The key thing the back has to do when he's running the ball is keep those legs driving.
That's a tough play to run, too. That tight end and short yardage, they had the right guard pulling, and they made it work.
You should have guessed on that one.
Danny Sistrunk was there again with Hairston, and first down for the Colts at the 2-yard line of Philadelphia, grinding it out.
This is probably the best drive I think they've had this year as far as a consistent drive. They're eating up the clock. They're using the clock. The first part of the game, the Eagles had 12 minutes and 25 seconds, and the Colts 6:55.
Touchdown. The Baltimore Colts open the scoring with 5 minutes remaining here in the first half. Leaks from the 2-yard line on a good drive following the missed field goal by Mickelmeyer. The Colts marched it down the field.
Look at that surge by that front line of the Colts. Pratt, Mendenhall, Huff, all doing the job up front.
Oh, they just blew him back on that one.
Well, the Colts, who lost their starting offensive tackles before the season began, David Taylor and George Coons, and they're getting the job done today so far by Bob Van Dyne and Wade Griffin, a converted tight end, a free agent. Second-year man, number 69, the left side tackle. Linhart with the point after. And it's good. And so the Baltimore Colts jump on top with the enthusiastic response of their home crowd, 7-0. Well, Tuesday night on CBS, another outstanding evening of entertainment. Drama is in the air. First, a crime he didn't commit could end the career of a student in the powerful new series Paper Chase. And then a date at the prom turns into a night of terror in the spellbinding CBS Tuesday night movie Carrie, starring Sissy Spacek, Piper Laurie, and John Travolta. Tuesday night here on CBS. Tim Ryan with Roman Gabriel and Tom Matty at Baltimore's Memorial Stadium. The deep men for the Eagles are James Betterson and Billy Campfield, a rookie from Kansas. Ball comes to Betterson at the 6. Betterson, loose ball, recovered by the Eagles. Betterson with a good hit at the 25.
And he's down.
Boy, is he down.
Ball recovered by Reggie Wilkes very alertly, but he took quite a hit. Let's see if we can see who got him on the replay. 20-yard return.
Here he is running the ball up here. Watch, he tries to cut it back to the inside, and he just gets absolutely nailed. Wow. Those are the kind of injuries, Gabe, that just, you know, being a player just still scare me.
Looked like Lloyd Mumford was the man who tripped him up, but Ron Baker landed on him when he went down. So we've got a timeout on the field. We'll be right back.
This is what they call the flying wedge. Look at them holding hands as they start up. This is what you want to see. You pick a man and you hit him.
That's called closeness. They're doing it everywhere now, in the huddles.
This is a great camera shot. You can see how he really gets nailed as he goes down.
It looked like the damage came from the knees of Ron Baker, but Pedersen is up and at the Philadelphia bench apparently all right. In the ball game now is Cleveland Franklin, number 30 at running back with Wilbert Montgomery. Montgomery, the ball carrier. Montgomery almost broke loose. It was Doug Nettles who tripped him up, and Simonini was hurt on that play, getting up a little bit slowly, but he's all right.
Gabe, watch this cut on this.
Boy, I tell you, that's movement. Jerry Sizemore had a nice block there to spring him loose.
From the 38.
This kid runs well. He runs like Jim Brown used to. He doesn't really pick his legs up too high. He's always solid with the foundation.
5'10", 195, a second-year man from Abilene Christian. I love him. It is 2nd and 1. 9-yard gain by Montgomery. Play action, and Jaworski keeps it and rolls out the left side, drops the ball. Picked up by the Colts. It is John Dutton. And Dutton gets inside the 40, and Baltimore has good field position at the 38 of Philadelphia.
That's why quarterbacks are quarterbacks and halfbacks are halfbacks.
He does everything right here. Fine run.
Everything right.
Everything but hold on to the football. And I know how he feels because I think I hold one of those records for most fumbles.
That was Dwight Harrison, number 28, recently acquired from Buffalo in a trade when they had some problems in the secondary with Muncie and Norm Thompson. And it was Harrison who stripped the ball as he made the hit on Jaworski, and that was a good-looking play until he dropped it. First down, Baltimore. They lead 7-0.
Now's the time to go for that bomb. Really shake them up. Let's see what happens.
Leaks in Washington. Leaks the lead back. Washington.
Oh!
Here it is. Razzle-dazzle. Deep for Carr. And that'll be interfered. Sanders, number 26, jumped up in front of Roger Carr.
How's that for a call? It's the old flea flicker we used to say. The back comes right up to the line, throws it back to Troup. It's just a fly pattern, a hesitation on an outside receiver, and you can see the pass interference right here, right now.
Evidently, Troup he must have a little soreness in his shoulder too, because he doesn't get the ball up high enough.
He is bothered by a shoulder injury, and I said before the game it's hard for him to get really loose. But I tell you, he did the job there. He got it downfield, and Sanders did not play that well at all because Carr had his eye on the ball. Sanders did not, and Sanders in desperation jumped up in front of him and on him. So it is first down at the 1. Alston in the call, double tight ends. Lee and Leaks the running backs. Baltimore threatening again. Oh, what a hit. Leaks is stopped short.
Bill Berge.
Berge, number 66, and number 78, Carl Hairston. Really doing the job on Roosevelt Leaks, and he got nowhere.
He absolutely timed this perfect right here. You can see Berge as he comes right through the air and meets Leaks right there. Watch this. Boom.
How would you like to have him and Butkus and Tommy Novus beside you when you went down a dark alley?
And Doug Atkins.
I wouldn't be afraid as long as they were on my side.
2nd and goal, Baltimore. Ron Lee stopped again by the Eagles. An inspired goal line defense.
That's Berge over there.
Berge, number 66, having his typically outstanding afternoon. Deke Sanders getting in on the action too. And I'm sure Sanders wants very much to be involved in stopping the Colts here. He was the victim on the long bomb.
You know, that's the problem with playing that corner position, Gabe. You know, you're so vulnerable to the camera. And when you make a mistake, everybody knows you make a mistake.
And you wonder why he was there in the first place, because he's the free safety.
That's right.
Sanders has 3 interceptions in 4 games. He's a good one. Not going to happen to anybody what happened to him. 3rd and goal. Leaks trying the outside, stopped again. He slipped that time. The outside was denied him. He tried to cut back in and slipped, and they buried him again. That was number 41, Randy Logan.
Tommy, I'm sure you've heard this many times where a coach has told you to keep your feet under you.
That's right.
He loses his balance.
Right there. You can see him slide. He's cutting off the wrong foot.
Good play by Logan, though. He wouldn't let him outside.
He might have scored if he kept his feet under him.
Marshall Johnson in the game for Glenn Rowdy. Timeout is called. We're at the 2-minute remaining mark here in the first half, with the Baltimore Colts leading 7-0. 4th and goal at the 1-yard line of Philadelphia. The Eagles have stopped the Colts 3 consecutive plays. We have 2 minutes remaining first half. San Diego leading New England 20-7 in the 3rd period. Dan Fouts has passed the 2 touchdowns to John Jefferson, the rookie from Arizona State. Here come the Colts. They're going for it. Dowdy back in the game. They're bunched in tightly. They give us the lead, and does he have it? Troup says yes. The officials have not indicated what they think. And they are bunched up on that goal line. He went right behind the right guard, Ken Huff. And we are going to wait till we see one of those striped shirts.
Oh, that may change the momentum.
Whoa. Eagles.
Unbelievable. Great defense.
Fantastic defense.
Ron Lee, 230-pounder. Couldn't do it. Let's see. Again. And we're waiting to see how they strip out those tacklers, because they all stacked in there and did a great job. At the bottom of the pile, well, we're going to have to dig them out as they get up. We'll be back in a moment. A tenacious Eagles defense with a brilliant goal line stand has stopped the Baltimore Colts. The Colts have been able to move the ball fairly well, especially in the first period, but every time the Eagles have had to stop them, they had, with that one exception where the Colts went on to score on the touchdown by Leaks. The man down is Dennis Harrison, the rookie from Vanderbilt, who was the man at the bottom of that pile stopping Ron Lee on 4th down, and he had a lot of help from Manny Sistrunk. We'll see it again.
Again, you can see Leaks leading the play to the inside.
Looks like Harrison stacks it up pretty good.
He sure does. And Lee tries. This is where you've got to try to go up over the top instead of trying to pull your way through. And, you know, this is one of the things that you can see some of the backs are doing in the league. They try to go up over the top, because what happens is those defensive linemen submarine you, and they try to get you low. But if you're up above them when they're driving at you, you can get in there for the touchdown. I think Lee should have went up over the top instead.
Yeah, I think so there too, Tommy. Looked like he could have scored.
Bill Troup, you could see, had the hands up trying to influence the officials' decision, but they put the ball down on about the 1-inch line, and Harrison still down there receiving aid from trainer Otto Davis. And it stands 7-0. We'll be right back. Well, there is Dennis Harrison being helped to the sidelines. Apparently all right. I tell you, the most likely injury was simply the sheer weight of all those bodies on top of him. I think he's just plenty sore. Let's hope it's nothing more than that.
Good old Otho Davis, the trainer over there who used to be with the Baltimore Colts with me, who's one of the best as far as I'm concerned in the NFL.
I agree with you, Tom. If there's anything out there that'll help you get well, Otho will bring it in.
Well, they give him a lot of credit for the great physical condition of this Eagles team. They have had only the one injury so far to Wally Henry. They give him a lot of credit. First down at the 1-inch line for the Eagles. They worked their way out of this kind of a jam earlier in the first half, with Wilbert Montgomery literally single-handedly bringing them out over their 25. And this time Montgomery gets about a half a yard, and the Colts, with 1:48 remaining, have called timeout. With the ball out to the 1-yard line, we'll give them a gain of about a yard on it.
Tim, the Eagles are going to try to run that ball out of there. They've got both tight ends in, and I think Ed George is now in for Stan Waters. Waters must have hurt his ankle again.
Waters came into the game with an ankle injury and was hurt a little bit earlier in the game. And looks like George is getting work there at that left tackle position. The veteran. We have another timeout on the field, with Baltimore still in front. Second and 9 for the Eagles from their 1-yard line.
The play that got him down there, Mr. Troup and Mr. Dowdy down there were discussing ways of going against this Eagles defense, and they can do it on that first down.
Montgomery and Hogan are the running backs, double tight ends. Osborne, the second one, joining Keith Prefley. Get that blocking out of there, and Montgomery stopped at the goal line. Second effort, got back just over the line of scrimmage. Joe Ehrman, number 76, put a real shot on him.
Well, I didn't think he was going to get out that time, Tim. He really got nailed.
He looked like he'd get knocked into the end zone and then came back out.
Well, these two defensive lines are just having at each other today. It seems like a contest between the two of them to see who can outperform the other. They're just both playing super.
Well, when the Eagles came into the game, they knew that the core of the Baltimore defense was the line, and if the line played well, they would have a problem in this ball game.
We've got 1:42 remaining here in the first half, with another timeout on the field. Gives us the opportunity to remind you the next week on the Sports Spectacular. Taped highlights from Watkins Glen, the United States Grand Prix, which is underway today. And of course, Mario Andretti won the pole position. He is the world champion. He wants to win this race, and that would be the first American to win the U.S. Grand Prix. The Man of War Stakes, the 20th running from Belmont Park. And the World's Strongest Man, the premier of this year's competition, featuring an 8 tests of strength by some of the world's strongest men. And first event of the season is the barrel lift, and you don't want to miss that. I'd walk a mile to see a barrel lift. But I can sit down in front of my set on the Sports Spectacular next Saturday, 4:30 Eastern Time.
We should enter Doug Atkins in the world's strongest contest.
Well, they had that Young is one of the competitors.
That's right.
Guard.
Powerful. He's very powerful.
Montgomery has 52 yards on 11 carries. The last couple of yards have been mighty tough for him from the goal line area here. 3rd down, 8 to go. Montgomery, loose ball, picked up by the Colts. Darrell Loose, tackled at the 3-yard line by Charles Smith, and the Colts are back knocking.
Holy mackerel. You talk about breaks going against you. The Eagles got them going today.
It always happens in this stadium, too.
Good hold to the inside, a quick trap, and he just loses the ball. Loose picks it up.
Charlie Smith saves a touchdown here.
Darrell Loose, 4th-year man from Baylor, showed he's a good athlete, the way he picked that up and kept going all in one motion. And the Colts, who were stopped here right at the goal line just moments ago in game time, seems like hours ago. It is 1st down at the 4-yard line and goal to go. Leaks and Lee, the running backs. Play action. Incomplete.
Bad decision.
He had him early, Tom.
He had Leaks on the side on the arrow pattern, a quick flat pass right out to the outside. He went for the deep man.
Reese McCall was the intended receiver.
You're generally taught to look at the fullback first before you go to the deep guy, and evidently Troup just didn't see his fullback standing out in the flat. Let me ask you something, Tom. I noticed the Colts hold hands in the huddle. Did you ever do this when you were a Colt?
We'd have been suspect if we'd have done that.
Could you imagine asking Gino Marchetti to hold your hand?
No, I wouldn't want to do that.
We got McCauley in the backfield now, Tim. There's a guy that really is, one of the real clutch ball players in this ball club.
McCauley, number 23, been bothered with a shoulder injury, but an excellent pass receiver and a good short yardage carrier. Play action again. Leaks is wide open, touchdown. Flag is down.
They got a pick. They have a pick
against the Eagles.
No, it's against Baltimore, I think. A pick.
Yeah, let's see. Leaks is in the end zone. Let's watch the play, and then we'll see who gets the penalty.
There it is right there.
I guess not.
It's against Philadelphia, and so the touchdown is good. And the Baltimore Colts, given the scoring opportunity, take advantage of it and jump into a 13-0 lead. We have 1:27 remaining first half.
That's unusual. The same play. They came back.
They came back. I guess Leaks must have told him. He says, "I'm wide open. Give me the ball." The second half we may come on. When we come back on air again, what's going to happen? We may see some rain because it's really clouding up around here.
Linhart attempting the point after Kirkland holding. It is good. And so the Baltimore Colts, with 1:27 left in the first half, have taken a 14-0 lead on the touchdown pass from Bill Troup to Roosevelt Leaks.
The thing that the offense has done against the defense for the Eagles is it put so much pressure on their defense to come up with these big plays that you can just ask so much of that defense to do, right, Kate?
That's right, Tommy. And generally that's what happens. A team that's 1-3 all of a sudden rises to the occasion, and the defense forces big plays for the offense. And now I don't think the Colts have had to go too far to get their scores.
That's right. We've had 2 turnovers that led to the second touchdown. The Jaworski fumble that put him in there the first time, and because they were buried in there so deep starting from the 1-inch line, then the fumble to Montgomery, giving the Colts a second chance. which they made good on. So they are up 14-0. And the Eagles offense, which was impressive last week against Miami, has got to get something going now. Billy Campfield is a deep man along with Herb Lusk, number 32, Campfield number 37.
The Eagles need points on the board before halftime. They need a little momentum.
1:27 to go. We'll see their 2-minute offense when they get the ball.
They've got 3 timeouts left.
Linhart. Campfield at the 10-yard line. Campfield, good running room, and now is knocked out of bounds at about the 35-yard line.
They're real high on him, Tim. He runs a 4.440 and bench presses over 450 pounds.
Wow, Blackwood, the man had to deal with all that muscle, knocked him out. He's a rookie from Kansas. Was their 4th pick this year. Next week on CBS, the NFL coverage looks like this. Atlanta at Pittsburgh. The Eagles will be in New England against the Patriots. Washington, hot team, will be at Detroit. Chicago at Green Bay. Big important game in that division. Tampa Bay at Kansas City. The doubleheader action. San Francisco at LA. Minnesota at Seattle. The Giants at Dallas. Check your local listings for the time and games in your area. Montgomery and Hogan, the running backs. Jaworski first down, throwing to Hogan's screen. First down.
And we got a flag down there, too.
Hogan behind the blocking of Wade Key on the screen. And let's see who this is against.
Again, I think it's a mistake that the Eagles have made. Either they blocked too soon downfield or it was a clip.
Carmichael, I think, Tom, blocked too soon downfield.
Offensive interference.
Talk about mistakes killing a ball club. This is exactly what's happening to the Eagles today.
Pass
They're making
interference,
mistakes.
number 17, offense.
It's
First
tough
down.
enough to win without making mistakes.
That's right.
Well, you know, it's a 10-yard penalty, but they gave him 10.5. Now they're moving it up a little bit.
When it goes bad, it goes bad.
They spotted that ball about a half-yard deeper than they should have. Another official came over and moved it. 4 linebackers in for the Baltimore Colts. First and 20. 1:11 on the clock, first half. Jaworski, lots of time. Incomplete, intended for Crifley, the tight end. Dwight Harrison on the coverage with help from Tom McLeod, the extra linebacker, number 52.
Not very good judgment on that throw. Sometimes when you get too much time to throw, you often throw into the coverage, and I think that's what happened to Jaworski that time.
I think Hogan was coming around to the inside on the delay by the halfback coming around there, and he was wide open underneath the linebackers, but he wasn't deep enough. But I would have thrown to him, wouldn't you, Gabe?
Yeah, I sure would. Maybe they'll come back to it. Well, that's one of the disheartening things of having your plays called for you. You're not able to come back and say, let's go to this.
That's
you
right.
have to wait for it to come from the sideline.
You're listening to Roman Gabriel, ex-Eagle, and Tom Matty, ex-Colts. Second and 20, 5 defensive backs in for the Colts in the obvious passing situation. Jaworski, Montgomery behind the screen. For the 35, it was Darrell Luce, number 58, McLeod, and Mumford all in on the tackle. Got about 12.
That's the kind of call that you're more or less playing it cozy. If you do make if the guy does break, you get a first down and you still have a chance to go for a field goal.
40 seconds left. They'll keep it going here. Third and about 8.
There's Hogan again, Tom.
Jaworski's going to run again out of the pocket.
Oh, he didn't get it. He didn't get it.
Did not have the first down. That was Sanders Shiver meeting him at third base.
That was the same play. Hogan was wide open again, coming across the middle.
Right across the middle, wide open. I think it's a 4th down. I don't think they're going to take any chances.
Timeout call by the Eagles. They're going to get a measurement here or not? Looks to be short, but I've been wrong before.
I don't even think they're going to go for the measurement this time.
You know, I think maybe if they're going to tell the quarterbacks to hit the turf when they get hit, they should go head first like Pete Rose. At least he would have gotten a first down.
You know, until somebody hits you, you can slide as far as you want to.
Yeah.
And they mark it where the ball is. So if you fall in a slide.
He made it. He just didn't get it.
Well, that's right. That is an interesting point because he slid in there feet first, and if you talk about forward progress, is it with the ball in that case, or where his toes were?
It's your toes or your nose. Which one you want?
Maybe they're afraid if you go head first, you'll get a head job.
He got a first down nonetheless, and it's at the Eagles 45. And as Roman Gabriel said, the Eagles really need something on the board here, and if they could get the major score, 14-7, would be a big difference to start the second half with. They are down 14-0. 2 touchdowns by Roosevelt Leaks, a 2-yard run, a 4-yard pass play.
Let's watch Hogan and see if the Eagles come back to him.
Carmichael wide left, Charles Smith wide right. Up the middle, complete to Crifley, flag down, tackled by Laird. First down at the 45, and depending on the call, maybe some more.
Well, that's the weakness of that defense, Tommy. They're doubling both outside receivers, giving the tight end coverage by the linebacker. But again, O'Hogan was wide open coming across that middle.
And back coming across over the middle is wide open every time. They've got to spot it one of these times.
What would you do if you ran across the middle like that?
Oh, well, I used to come back in that huddle and tell United, say, hey, listen, brother, I'm wide open.
Would he throw it to you?
You're darn right he would.
Holding against the Colts declined, of course. First down, 16 seconds left. Jaworski. Incomplete.
Great defensive play by Bruce Laird, breaking that one up. That was a good throw, too, Gabe.
Right on the money. A little out pattern. Should have caught that football.
Spoken like a quarterback. 10 seconds remaining, first half.
You know, I was just thinking, though, you sit up here and you see everything so clear. I would imagine if I was down there, I probably wouldn't be throwing to Hogan either.
That's right. I love the second guess. You have more fun doing that.
It's different.
You know, we're ex-players, but we're just like the fans. We like the second guess, too.
That's what they're doing at home. They're probably second guessing you guys as well.
Yeah.
Slot formation right. Jaworski rolling a little bit here. Got some pressure, and he's sacked. John Dutton, number 78. Fred Cook led the charge. Barnes right behind him. Dutton did the job.
That time the Eagles were in what they call their special pass. They had everybody up, one back in the backfield, sending 5 guys deep to try to go for the bomb. And I don't think you can do that against a good pass rushing team like the Colts have.
Now you can see everybody's going out. They're keeping the one back in. That's it. And the front 4, you can see the pressure that's being put on the quarterback. Jaworski's rolling to the right side.
He might have came out of there too soon, Tommy.
Yep. This also changes the way these guys are allowed to block, too, once he gets outside that pocket with this new ruling that they have.
Yeah, he could have been better off stepping up, but maybe it was the design of the play. I don't know.
Looked like he started to roll right away as though that was the design.
Yeah, it does.
He's rolling behind that one blocking back. We've got 4 seconds remaining, so they'll have one last shot at it here. What do you do, guys?
I think they're just going to throw it long.
Sure.
Send everybody downfield again and throw her up.
Throw her up for grabs.
So if it's intercepted,
Just
got
hope
11 guys.
Just hope they don't run it back for a touchdown.
You got supposed to have 11 guys out there to make a tackle.
Now here comes Jaworski with the play after discussion with Dick Vermeil. And the Eagles have to be a little bit surprised and disappointed right now. They came in as favorites in the game. That's been a rare thing for them in recent years. They crippled Colts off to a 1-3 start. The Eagles coming off the win against Miami. They have their work cut out for them at this point.
There they are, Tim. The bomb squad's in there.
Now Blackwood playing center field back there at the 20 for Baltimore. Jaworski eludes Dutton. Flag is down. It'll be holding.
Come on.
Sure, it's up for Carmichael, who has it. Touchdown, and I gotta believe it's holding back here on Ed George. Well, if you're going to throw it to somebody, I'd like it to be Carmichael, who goes 6'8" in a situation like that. Jaworski, by the way, he threw that about 65 yards in the air.
Unbelievable.
On the run, too, to the left side.
You'll be able to see the holding right here.
It is
I
Dutton
think even
being held
Barnes-
by George.
Barnes
Holding
jumps a gun.
Number 64.
Here it is, right there.
The half
You
is
can
over.
see it.
Well, he had a half Nelson on him. Ed George.
Good move by Jaworski, but at this point the flag is already down. You can't see it. But now he comes up to the 40-yard line, so that's going to make it a 60-yard pass. Well, now let's call it 58 since he was about the 42 when he chucked it. So the half is over as we see Big Harold go up there using all 6'8", and then his muscle into the end zone with 3 Colts on him, but all for naught.
Unbelievable.
It goes for nothing. And so at halftime here at Baltimore's Memorial Stadium, the Baltimore Colts, crippled as they are with some impressive offensive running early in the game, and then taking advantage of 2 fumbles by the Philadelphia Eagles, have taken a 14-0 lead, and both touchdowns scored by Roosevelt Leaks, a 2-yard run, a 4-yard touchdown pass from Bill Troup. So that's how it stands here at Baltimore's Memorial Stadium. And gentlemen, as we just take a quick look at our unofficial stats, we'll come back with it. Wilbert Montgomery, 55 yards on 12 carries, most of that in the first quarter. And Washington, the leading rusher for the Colts, has carried 8 times for 27. But you know, I think for Colts fans, this little stat we're looking at here, Bill Troup, 5 out of 7 for 65 yards. Nothing spectacular, but nonetheless doing the job that really a lot of people don't have a lot of confidence in Bill Troup. He's got to feel good, and the Colts fans have.
Tim, there's no question about it. He's mixing his plays well. They're coming from the bench. And what they wanted to do going into this ball game, Tim, was to establish the running game, mix the short passes, be able to hit that deep one every once in a while, be able to throw on first down to appease the crowd here because they haven't been doing that lately. And they're mixing up the running game and the passing game. You take a look at it. Washington has 8 carries. Leaks has 8 carries. Ron Lee has 4 carries. So, I mean, they're mixing it up, and he's 5 for 7 for 65 yards. The possession time is about equal. In the first part of the game, the Colts had the ball the majority of the time, but the possession time now, Gabe, is that the Eagles have over 15 minutes and 15 seconds, and possession time for the Colts are 14:45.
Gabe, you've got to feel that this Eagles defense, which has played superlatively here in the first half, they find themselves down 14-0. Twice in critical situations they stopped the Colts. One after when Engels threw that underhanded pass, and then they stopped the Colts at the Philadelphia 24-yard line. They do the job there. They go into the second quarter scoreless, and then in the second quarter they stop them at the 1-inch line. Finally surrender the touchdown after the fumble to Montgomery. It's got to be hard, no matter what coaches and players say. It's got to be hard to keep up the morale of the defensive team under those conditions.
Well, you know, I see by the statistics the Eagles are doing what they want, ball control, and Montgomery has a lot of yards, but they don't have any points.
The preceding announcement was brought to you as a public service by the National Football League. We are ready to go here. Third quarter action. The Philadelphia Eagles to our left in white, the Colts to our right in blue, and the Eagles will kick it off. They are trailing 14-0. They would like to get that ball right back. And you can see in the first half, the Eagles had the ball 4 more times in Baltimore, but they have no points on the board. 22 yards passing, perhaps the most significant stat for the Eagles, and we expect that they'll be throwing some more here in the second half. Marshall Johnson, the deep man, takes Nick Nickermeyer's kickoff, taken by Washington, number 27. Johnson and Washington, the deep men together, and Washington brings it out to the 28-yard line where he is stopped by number 58, Terry Totolo. 23-yard return for Joe Washington. First down, Baltimore. Baltimore's Bill Troup, 5 out of 7. Ron Jaworski, 5 out of 10 in the first half. Leaks and Joe Washington are the running backs. Wide left comes Dowdy, 35. Wide right is Roger Carr, number 81. Tim Ryan with Roman Gabriel and Tom Matty. Next Colt, the next Eagle. And this is Washington. Washington cannot get wide. Logan, number 41, the safety, gets him by the shoulders and swings him out. Picked up maybe 3 on the play.
Tim, he's still an exciting ball player. He's got that speed. And I had a chance to watch him. He was on a talk show here, and he's done just a super job. He's a really nice kid and has got a great outlook on it. And I think the trade that Irsay made for this guy has added a new dimension to the Colt offense. He let Lydell go out to San Diego, and we get Joe Washington, and they expect great things from him.
Well, want to correct that. It's a loss of 2 yards on the play. I've given him 3 looking at the wrong marker. It's 2nd and 12. More credit to Logan, who made the good defensive play. Here's Washington coming back behind the right guard. Kenny Huff and the center Ken Mendenhall. Stacked up by Bunting, number 95, and number 67, Len Burnham.
Washington seems to have good moves. He's like a cat, but I wonder with his size, can he continue to take the pounding?
Well, especially with 16 games, 16 games for a season now, Gabe. That's a long time. I remember we used to play 12. That was nice.
And still hurt. It still hurts.
I think Teddy Marchibroda, the Colts coach, has indicated he will not subject them to that kind of a grind. He expects to use all the running backs they have. Ron Lee, of course, pretty good one, and he goes 230. A gain of about 7 by Washington. It is 3rd and 5. They pitch out to Washington, who gets away from one man all by himself. The screen pass was, the blocking out there was not all that great, but Washington got more out of it than it looked like he could. Herman Edwards on the tackle, and Washington slow to get up.
Here you go, Tom. Watch how he's carrying the football. I don't think you like this. And look at Reggie Wilkes, the rookie linebacker, comes up and makes a futile attempt. If Drew Mahalik was in, he might have made the tackle just on experience alone.
He's carrying that thing like a loaf of bread. You know, you go back to fundamentals, because when you carry that ball out there like that, you're going to fumble that thing. I don't care how big your hand is. You got these big guys stripping that ball away from you, boy.
Drew Mahalik came down with hives this week, an allergic reaction during the practices, and it was serious enough that he not able to play today. So Wilkes getting the start at that outside right linebacker position. Leaks and Lee now the running backs. Lee in for Washington. Troup wants to throw on 1st down, and it went right through the hands of Leaks. A bump from Wilkes.
They had Leaks and Lee both open. They both delayed over the middle. That was just, you know, on a pass play like that, Gabe, did you see how hard he drilled that thing to him? And you're right on top of a guy. If you throw the ball that hard, you just can't catch it.
You know, it looked like he had a little indecision. I thought he was looking downfield deep. Then he saw his back wide open and just put too much on it. That was too hard.
Quarterbacks, you know, one of the things that I think of a great quarterback, when you become a great quarterback, you have the capabilities of being able to throw the different kinds of balls that you have to. You know, you throw that softball, you have to drill them on certain positions. And this is what I think Troup is having trouble doing.
2nd and 10. Troup with time. Complete to the tight end Alston. Out near the 50-yard line. Close to 1st down yardage. It was LeMaster, number 55, the linebacker, on the tackle.
It's a good read here by Troup. The Eagles are going in strong zone to the wide side. Troup comes back. He actually had Carr open to the left also. Came in here to his tight end. Nice pass there, Tom. He took a little bit off of it.
He took it off. You could see that if he has the time and he doesn't rush, you could take it off and you drop it in there. He gets a 1st down. Big play.
That's probably one of the things that separates the good quarterback from the average quarterback. That moment of indecision. When do I take it off and when do I unload it?
Mac Alston, free agent, picked up last year from the Houston Oilers, replacing Raymond Chester, traded back to Oakland from whence he came a few years ago to Baltimore. Dowdy in motion right. Troup. Washington tackled by LeMaster.
Now I know that hurt. I can feel that up here.
But you never let him know it hurts. See how quick he bounced back up?
Yeah, I know he's going to that huddle now going, give me 5.
That was Carl Hairston who got the little second shot on him there, the one that hurt.
What are the Colts doing here? They're putting the ball up.
That's right. They're throwing the ball. I like it.
2nd and 5. The ball at the 46-yard line of Philadelphia as Troup has the Colts on the move. Following the opening kickoff here in the 3rd quarter. Leads it 14-0. Washington trying to get wide, cuts it back upfield and is pulled up near the 1st down marker.
This could be a big drive for the Colts. They put one on the board now. Going to be tough for those Eagles to fly.
That's right. Put icing on the cake. You know, you take a look at Troup right now. He's 8 for 11 for 85 yards, and he's mixing his plays again very well. And you got a 3rd down and short yardage here, and they send the big backs in again. And let's see if Troup may pull one out of his hat here and come up with sort of a play action pass and see what they come up with.
It is 3rd and short. They've got the double tight ends in with Ron Lee, the big back, replacing Washington, the smaller one. 3rd and short. Leaks barreling in there, and again this Eagles defensive front rising up to meet the challenge. And
I don't think he
got it. I don't think he got anything.
No, I don't believe so.
Manny Sistrunk, number 79. First man to hit him.
Again, watch the flow of these linebackers laterally along the line of scrimmage. You could see Leaks trying to cut back up against the grain.
Bill Bergey's there too.
Nose guard Charlie Johnson, 65.
Charlie Johnson is right on it.
John Bunning comes in and takes a little powder there.
It's open season when you're open like that, brother.
Fourth down, and the Colts are going to punt this time. They were denied at the goal line by this Philadelphia front. John Shara is the deep man at the 10-yard line. David Lee is the punter, number 49. Just got it away, and it might have been partially blocked. The way the ball came down, it rolls to the 10-yard line. And that works out pretty well for Baltimore, regardless.
There's Vince Papali's back again.
So the Colts will have the Eagles pinned in there once again at the 9-yard line. San Diego in front of New England, 23-21 in the fourth quarter. Steve Grogan has hit 2 touchdown passes to get New England back into that one. They trailed 20-7 in that game at one point. Ron Jaworski is trailing 14-0 here. Hogan and Montgomery are the running backs. They shift to the I. Hogan the lead back. Montgomery right up the middle.
Oh.
Still going. Still going. Finally pulled down at the 20. A flag is down. It is Dwight Harrison, number 28, making the tackle. He has first down yardage. Let's see what the call is.
Could be a face mask. Let's see what happens.
Did you see the big giant Carmichael down there leading the way for little Montgomery? Here it is. This is one of those new wrinkles they put in. Give it the tailback and let him pick the hole.
He's picking a good one.
Yeah.
You have to have good blocking on the backside, as you pointed out early in the first half, Tom, for this kind of play to work.
Defense, first down.
There's the big giant, 17, Carmichael.
There's the face mask. You saw it right on the screen. Boy, these officials are doing a great job today, Tim.
Fred Wyatt, the referee, announcing that Dwight Harrison, the guilty party, on the face mask. It is first down, Eagles. The ball now at their 25. In motion comes Ken Payne. Has not seen much action today. Montgomery shakes off one tackle, another tackle. Finally, Shiver stops him near the 30-yard line. Gain of about 4, maybe 5.
Oh, my man Laird just got a shot out there.
Stanley Waters is back in there doing it again.
He hit Laird, and I think the first thing it hit us was the back of his head on the ground.
We might watch later on. The Eagles have a screen to Harold Carmichael off this same action. We might get a little of that soon.
Again, Montgomery's cutting back against the green again, keeps his balance, keeps those legs driving. Now watch number 40 come in here and get hit. Oh.
Second and 5. Montgomery again. Met at the corner by Nettles, number 30. And in front of him is Fred Cook, number 72, the defensive end.
We got a final on one game, Tim. Buffalo has won over Kansas City 28-13.
Well, the Buffalo Bills have been struggling, but they are now 2-3 with a victory last week over Baltimore. After going 0-3, they've now won 2 in a row.
There's that Tommy Campfield in the ball game, the rookie.
Campfield, the rookie from Kansas, 6th pick by the Eagles this year, and they like him. 5'11", 185, good smooth runner. Campfield and Hogan. This is Hogan. Hogan cutting back into the middle and looks to have the first down. Montgomery has 74 yards on 15 carries.
Good call there. Did you see the defensive alignment for the Colts at that time? They were strong right. Eagles came back to the weakness, or hit that bubble, as the coaches always say.
The bubble.
Hit the bubble.
By the way, Stan Walters back into the game. The 7-year man from Syracuse, bothered with an ankle and hurt early in the first quarter. Ed George gave him some relief, but Walters is back out there, number 75 at left tackle.
Tight ends out, have 3 receivers. Can we get a pass on 1st and 10?
Charles Smith in the slot right, number 85. Wide right is Ken Payne. Campfield to the 40-yard line. Gained 4 yards on the play before Cook stopped him, number 72.
The thing that was great about this play right here, Gabe, as you'll see, is that they really had him spread out defensively. The line had taken good splits, so it gives that back plenty of opportunity. This whole thing is spread out a lot, and it gives the back the opportunity to cut anywhere he wants to. The play was designed to the outside that time, and he cut back up against the grain and picks up 4 yards.
One thing you've got to like here is the Eagles are playing very patiently here. They're not out there gunning it. They're down by 2 touchdowns, but there's a long way to go in this football game, and the running offense worked well in the first period particularly. Now throwing, complete to Campfield, and he has a first down, forced out by Shiver at the 50-yard line.
Tommy, I tell you, he did something most rookie backs or even some experienced backs don't do well. He ran a little out pattern, but he got to the linebacker, as we can see it here, and forced the linebacker inside and then took it out.
This is what we used to call a halfback option, Gabe, which we had the option of going at that linebacker. If he dropped straight back, we'd give the break it to the inside or the outside. And when you do that, you freeze that linebacker, and you have an isolated coverage on you, and he's got to cover you no matter what he does. He makes a mistake.
Right.
First down, Philadelphia at midfield. In motion is Payne, the wide receiver, to the near side. Jaworski throwing, first down, incomplete over the head of Campfield. Shiver on the coverage. The final score in, the winless St. Louis Cardinals are still winless under Bud Wilkinson. Miami 24, the Cardinals 10. So the Dolphins bounce back from last week's loss to Philadelphia, and Miami is now 3-2.
And Pittsburgh, we have a final on the Pittsburgh game also. Pittsburgh 28, the Jets 17. And they really miss that quarterback up there, Dodd.
And Pittsburgh is 5-0, all alone atop the Central Division of the American Conference. 2nd and 10, slot formation right. Big Carmichael in the slot, number 17. Montgomery and Hogan, the running backs. Lots of time. They swing it out to Montgomery, and Ehrman is there. He gets a block, battles his way up to near the line of scrimmage, but he'll still lose a couple on the play. Loose, Barnes, Cook, Laird, everybody there.
I think they didn't hide that play too well. You think, Gabe?
No, they ran that several times in the first half, and I think the Colts are on to that now.
You know, when you have that kind of a play, what we used to have to capitalize on that kind of thing right there is we would fake that kind of a play and then screen back to the weak side with either your tight end or your fullback sneaking back over there.
Colts have got 5 defensive backs in now. They take Simonini, the linebacker, out. Timeout is called here by Philadelphia as Jaworski wants to talk it over with Dick Vermeil, the Eagles head coach, and Philadelphia is still down 14-0. Well, the San Diego Chargers scared the New England Patriots to death, but the New England Patriots came out on top of final 28-23. And remember, following our game, we'll be going out to Akron, Ohio, Firestone Golf Club, where the World Series of Golf will be seen here on CBS.
Let's look for the tight end in this situation.
3rd and 11. Big play for the Eagles. Sideliner, incomplete, intended for Payne, not a good throw. Coverage by Harrison. They really needed that one there, I think, Roman, because here early in the 3rd quarter, they're down 14-0. They start to move the ball out pretty well following the kickoff, but following the punt, but they just unable to sustain it.
They need to get something on the board real quick now. They did move out of their own territory, which should give them better field position if they can hold the Colts after this punt.
Johnson deep for the Colts.
Marshall Johnson, the lone deep man, standing at the Baltimore 15.
You know, Tim, the Eagles don't have to keep cutting Ingles. They just need to change his jersey. Some guns wearing 13. No wonder you get bad luck.
Whoa, he kicked a real good one this time. Rick Ingles. He gets that into the end zone. And the Colts will start first down from their own 20. 52-yard punt from Rick Ingles. And so the Baltimore Colts take over, and they lead it 14-0.
All right, Minnesota with under Bud Grant up there, and Francis Tarkington down in Tampa Bay beat him 24-7. Don't count those guys out in that Central Division.
No way. You can never count the Vikings out, and they gain revenge for their loss at the hands of Tampa Bay and Minnesota 2 weeks ago. Roosevelt leaks from the 20, gets to the 23. Manny Sistrunk First man to hit him, Carl Hairston, getting in on the action.
It's tough to hit up the middle in that Eagle defense because of those guys up, those 3 down linemen are very physical and strong.
Charlie Johnson, the nose tackle, second-year man from Colorado, 6'3", 262. They say he's quick and very strong. 7th pick last year, and they're happy with him. They got a good kid behind him, and Kenny Clark, a rookie from Syracuse, free agent. 2nd and 7 for the Colts. They're in command here. The Eagles have got to stop him this drive. Troup throwing complete. Wide open was Alston. Alston, first down yardage and then some to the 45 of Baltimore. Number 46 on the tackle, Herman Edwards.
Again, you'll see Troup setting up right here. Weak side flare pass. Looking to the strong side zone. Hooks up right in the dead spot. In between the 2 linebackers right there. Perfect throw. And this is good running with the ball. Puts that head down, tucks it away.
Mistake in the coverage, Tom. They had the zone coverage with the strong safety going deep. One linebacker made a mistake, either Bunning or LeMaster.
Bill Troup is now 8 of 11 for 106 yards. So far having himself a fine afternoon. He's got big shoes to fill, and those of Burt Jones. Joe Washington dances for 2 or 3.
I tell you, he looked like he could get nailed in the backfield there, and he moves like a cat.
I thought he was a dead duck then.
And he picks up about 3 yards on the play.
You know, those good backs can run with their feet off the ground. I've never seen anything like it.
Frank LeMaster and Charlie Johnson on the tackle. 2nd and 7. Dowdy comes wide left 35. Roger Carr 81 is wide right. Colts wide receivers. Leaks. Washington the running backs. Washington. Huff ahead of him. Flag down. He dives to the 45 of Philadelphia. He's hauled down by Reggie Wilkes, the rookie from Georgia Tech. Let's see what the infraction is. Holding Baltimore.
Holding penalty against the Colts.
So the Eagles get a break here as the Colts seem to have a little momentum going. That ball was up near the first down marker, and instead they will be 2nd and long.
Tough break for the Colts. They're moving the ball well. Have a little momentum going. Colts offense is generating some steam.
Rookie
Holding
Charles Williams,
number 57, offense.
number 47, limping off the field. He was in as the extra back. John Shara comes into the game. Out goes LeMaster in this passing situation.
The Eagles have their prevent in now. Pass rusher Lem Burnham, 67.
And they've got Kenny Clark in there at the nose tackle. They put him in these passing situations, and they got the extra back in Shara.
Safety blitz.
Incomplete, intended for Carr. Maybe Troup saw him coming.
Yep.
That'll make you throw the ball a little quicker, won't it, Roman?
That sure will. Here comes Mr. Berge, 245 pounds of truck. Watch Shara get smacked here. Those safeties like to come until they get hit a couple of times.
They like those nice clean shots on the quarterbacks, that's all.
Troup deep for Downey, incomplete. Downey was open. Linebacker coverage by Reggie Wilkes. And the ball overthrown out of bounds.
That's too bad.
For whom?
Again, watch the big man coming again.
There he comes.
What a frightening sight.
Somebody's there to pick him up, though.
That was Wade Griffin, the tackle, 69. Give him a little shot from behind, too.
Tell you what, though, he's coming hard.
He's a real leader. He's one of the leaders on that Philadelphia Eagle team. They got them all up on the line. Look for them coming after it this time.
That was a good, important defensive stop by the Eagles there. They get the ball back now. David Lee punting. Shara, the lone returner, has it at the 26. Gets to the 36. Pulled down there by Ron Baker, number 60, and Tim Baylor, number 47. And so the Hubert Green continues to lead in the final round of the World Series of Golf. We'll be going to Akron, Ohio at the end of our game. He leads by a stroke. It is first down for the Eagles at their own 36-yard line. An important series for them here. Payne in motion behind the ball. The give to Montgomery. Montgomery cuts back and blasts out over the 40-yard line, a gain of 5. Ed Simonini on the tackle, number 56.
A fine read by Montgomery. Play was designed to go outside to the right. He couldn't get there, so he came back on his own and picked up 5 big yards.
Tom McLeod in the game for Sanders Shiver. Shiver didn't look like he wants to come out of there. The third-year man, Carson Newman. McLeod, the veteran, talked back out of retirement to help out the linebacking core of the Colts. All the injuries they've had in every area. Drop play, Montgomery running hard over people all the way to the 46-yard line of Baltimore. Nettles and Simonini combined to bring him down, but he carried him with him for a couple of yards.
All right, you want to watch my little man come here, Bruce Laird, number 40, American International. Tough kid on the pursuit, makes the tackle right there.
You know, this is the kind of thing that happened. The Colts were coming with a blitz again. You get that runner outside, there's big yardage to be made.
Big yardage.
He started to make the tackle, but Montgomery shook the man off.
I think he did too.
First down. Lots of time for Jaworski. Throw short, complete to Montgomery. Montgomery has another first down at the 37-yard line. Tom McLeod and Simonini there to stop him. Good catch here in traffic.
Lots of time, Gabe. This is the kind of thing you like to have when you're a quarterback.
That's right, Tommy. He shows good poise and composure here. Again, one of those situations, doubling up on the outside receivers, spots his fullback in the middle, or is that Montgomery, his halfback, in the middle, and takes advantage of it.
Now we knew they were going to come with that double zone, and I think at halftime they must have made the adjustments to realize that they got to hit that backs or the tight end coming out of the backfield.
I agree with you.
Hogan is stopped
Blackwood.
by Simonini and Blackwood. Good defensive play by Baltimore. Got maybe a yard.
You know, the Eagles, I think, are going to have to throw on first down. Again, the free safety comes up and wins position, but they had a blitz on, and that's his coverage.
That's right.
Shiver back in for McLeod at linebacker. Dave Rowe comes out. He's had quite a bit of action for a new acquisition, with Joe Ehrman missing a lot of practice this week because of a personal family problem in his family, and so the newcomer David Rowe has seen quite a bit of work today. But Ehrman is in there now. 2nd and 9. Hogan and Kempfield are the running backs.
Double zone coverage again. There's a back again. They got to hit him.
Swing pass, good catch, but good coverage by Harrison. Low ball like that, the receiver had no chance to make a move after he caught it. And Harrison had the chance to drop Hogan right at the line of scrimmage.
Again, you can see the outside back coming up there, just bumping him. Playing that zone over there. He's got the short flat to the outside, comes up, makes a good tackle on him.
Boy, he hit him good.
Whew.
That back's awful vulnerable when that ball's thrown out there like that.
Do they come back and say, hey, would you get a little bit higher so I don't get killed, Roman?
The Eagles' offensive line has given Jaworski time to throw.
3rd down. Big play again here for the Eagles. 3rd and 7. Long count. Cleveland Franklin to the 20-yard line.
Great call.
Has the first down yardage. A fine play by Philadelphia. Shiver on the tackle.
How many times have you seen it happen? One team jumps off sides and then doesn't get back to play, and you go ahead through with the ball. As you see here, the Eagles are all set up as the Colts jump.
It is John Dutton back there to make the tackle with Darrell loose, but the Eagles are on the move, and that's the end of the 3rd quarter with the score. The Baltimore Colts 14, Philadelphia nothing. We now pause for a word from your local station. Tim Ryan with Tom Addy and Roman Gabriel at Baltimore's Memorial Stadium under cloudy skies. The Philadelphia Eagles driving. They have first down at the 20-yard line. Hogan and Montgomery are the running backs. Montgomery is the 2nd back in the eye. Now they shift into the pro set. Carmichael wide right.
Double zone again. Right down the middle.
For Cripp, touchdown.
There it is, Tommy.
Boy, I'll tell you one thing. They had to do it. They went to the double zone again, Timmy. The 2 outside defensive backs just break to the outside. It's a double coverage on your outside receivers, and it really opens a tight end and the backs coming out of the backfield. And this is an absolutely perfectly thrown pass, right,
It
Gabe?
sure is. Right on the money. The middle linebacker, Simonetti, just could not get there. That's difficult coverage for him. And Jaworski took quite a shot and delivered that ball.
Prefley, the fourth-year man from Iowa State, had 8 catches coming into the game today. Makes a big one here as the Eagles are now back in it.
They threw on first down.
Mickemeyer will attempt the point after Shara holding. And it's good. And so, with ample time remaining, 14:56. The score, Baltimore 14, Philadelphia 7. Well, Boston in front of Toronto 5-0 in baseball action. If they hang on to win it, there will be a playoff at Fenway Park tomorrow to settle the American League East. What a finish. Meanwhile, back at the ranch, Joe Washington and Marshall Johnson await the kickoff from Nick Mickemeyer. We have a ball game here, 14-7. Joe Washington takes it at the 7.
Got a flag down on the play, too.
He is dropped inside the 25. John Shara, number 21 on the tackle. And Mickemeyer and somebody bigger down there. Calvin O'Neill, number 51, taking a few swats at each other.
That's been happening all game. Every time Nick kicks off, number 51's down there around his toes.
Popping them. Well, you know, I've heard that kickers were a little bit flaky, but I thought they, that didn't mean they were necessarily stupid.
I know, he actually threw a punch.
Hey, Nick, man, you had to look a long way up there to take on Calvin O'Neill. Atlanta has defeated the Giants 23-20.
Offside on the kickoff against the Eagles. Re-kick from the 30.
Well, O'Neill and Mickemeyer will have another chance to chat here because they're going to have to kick it off again. Offside against Philadelphia. You heard the word from Fred Wyant, the referee. Well, the Giants off to a great start, 3-1. Atlanta having their problems, not off to a great start. And they win one today.
You know, Tim, if things hold true, the character of this Eagles football team is to come hard in the second half, which they've done all year long, and that's by putting one on the board. Maybe they'll do the same thing.
Jaworski 9 of 16 for 85 yards and a touchdown now. 20-yarder to Keith Prefley, the tight end, to make it 14-7. Mickemeyer will have to kick it from the 30. Good kick. At the 10, Marshall Johnson. Running hard at the 35, 36. And again, O'Neill and Mickemeyer had some more words. And O'Neill is complaining to one of the officials.
Can you imagine the size of that guy, and he's complaining about a little kicker?
Let's watch him right here. Let's see what he does. O'Neill's yelling about a little face mask he penalty here.
Look at that, they're
coming
double
after
teaming him. Baylor.
There he does it, too. A little face mask. Mickemeyer better be quiet. I wouldn't want to mess with that big linebacker.
Calvin O'Neill, 6'2", 241. Bit of a mismatch. All right, first down, Baltimore. The 35-yard line. Bates and Washington, the running backs. There's Washington, and nowhere. Manny Sistrunk, number 79, with help from Hairston, 78.
The Eagles must have a problem somewhere in that secondary because 26, Deke Sanders, is playing the left corner, and generally he's the free safety.
Right, they got some injuries back there. We haven't had any reports on them as yet.
Well, Johnny Outlaw is the regular left corner. He does have a broken finger, but he has been in and out of this game today. We have had Charles Williams, the rookie, in there a little bit, and he went off limping not too long ago. So they've got Shara in at safety in Sanders' spot, and Sanders on the left corner with Herman Edwards on the right side. Let's see if the Colts will try to do something with that change. 2nd and 10. Washington. Oh, look at him dance. Over the 40 to the 42, a flag is down. Quickness by Joe Washington, the former Sooner star.
Here's a nice shot of Berge flowing along that line of scrimmage again. Takes the shot, sees the action. A good block right there by Leaks. But then Berge comes right back into the play.
The guy is uncanny. He moves before the ball snaps so many times, and he's in the right place. You know, Tom, you have to come over here and challenge Deke Sanders, 26.
Oh,
he's
gosh.
playing 12 yards off the ball.
They must be using a lot of zone, too, over here just to try to cover up for these guys because when you take a look at, you got Sanders in there on the
We have an
corner.
illegal crackback against number 35, offense.
Big penalty. Illegal crackback called against Glenn Dowdy of the Colts, 15-yarder. So it is now absolutely certain there'll be a playoff tomorrow. That final score, the Indians beating the Yankees 9-2. Boston beating Toronto. They'll settle it in Fenway Park tomorrow. Second down and very long. 25 for the Colts. Eagles have a great opportunity to pin him in here. Troup of time. Leaks. Slipped inside the 30. He had nowhere to go. There were 3 Eagles converging on him. LeMaster, Wilkes, Shara, and Berge make it 4 Eagles.
Good action here. They have a little play action fake, and Leaks comes out on the weak side on a check down. Berge's going everywhere on this play.
Get out of my way. Let me hit him.
Oh.
I'll tell you, he's a complete football player. There's no question about it.
He certainly likes to play the game.
We had a field goal in that Cleveland-Houston game. Tony Frisch hit an 18-yard field goal to put Houston ahead 16-13.
Gain of 10 on the play. It's still 3rd and 15, however. Now Troup coming long, incomplete, intended for Dowdy. A flag is down. Sanders on the coverage, and it looks like interference against the Eagles.
Boy, Gabe, you hit it right on. You hit it right on them. They came right after Sanders. Dowdy did it what they call an old Q move. You break to the inside, break to the outside. Sanders got right in his way. You can't touch him.
The ball was overthrown, so this is a bad penalty for Sanders to take here. Look at the pass, way overthrown.
Number 26, defense, first down.
A tough break for Sanders and the Eagles. First down, Baltimore. Good break for them. They have it at their own 49, and they were 2nd and 25 yards to go. Now they have first down. Troup is 10 for 14, 116 yards. He is doing the job today in place of the ailing Burt Jones.
We might look for Troup to send Carr behind Sanders. Sanders is setting down at about 10 yards.
Pitch out Washington. Good work by Logan, but here comes Washington. Look at the move inside, and it's John Shara throwing him out. Good defensive play by Randy Logan, the safety, and a great offensive effort by Washington coming back the other way.
And another flag is down.
A 50-yard run for a 5-yard gain. Another flag.
Offside Baltimore. So they got one call and now hurt themselves with one against them.
They play error-free football in the first half. Now they're coming out here making some mistakes. They can't afford to do that against this Eagle team.
Number 83, offense.
Mac Alston, the tight end from Maryland Eastern Shore. Offside, 1st and 15. 50,000 on hand here. Kind of a muggy afternoon in Baltimore for the 1st of October. Just now starting to cool off a little bit later in the afternoon. Cloudy skies all day long. 1st and 15. Tim Ryan with Roman Gabriel and Tom Matty. A good football game, an interesting game. Hard hitting. Ron Lee, number 34, gets back the 5 for the Colts. Berge is there. Randy Logan again on the tackle.
Again, a great coverage by our cameraman right here. Bill Berge sliding right along. Leaks misses him. Berge knocks the guard off. I mean to tell you, he's all over that field. Look at that. He's in for the tackle again.
Two guys on him that time.
Washington and Leaks are now in at running back for Baltimore. That was Robert Pratt, number 61, a pretty good guard, but that Berge's been driving him crazy.
And there's the final on the Cleveland-Houston game. Houston 16, Cleveland 13.
Troup wants to throw, has an open man. Washington down the sideline. Out of bounds with a first down at the 25 of Philadelphia.
The man can do it all, I'll tell you. Watch him come out of the backfield right here. It's just a down and out pattern by the halfback.
They had a roll-up zone on the weak side here, and Shara didn't get over to his coverage. Number 21 was supposed to be over there.
And he picks up 28 yards on that one.
Good throw by Troup, though. He got the ball off real quick before Shara could get there.
First down, Baltimore at the 25. They lead it 14-7. Threatening again. 11:58 remaining regulation time. Slot formation left. Dowdy in the slot. Now Washington comes way out to the right side. Leaks the only back in. Deep. Broken up, intended for Carr. That was Edwards with good defensive work, knocking it down. Shara was there doubling.
Troup had the right idea. Don't take the sack, but he almost threw that ball up for grabs.
He sure did. He had the pressure coming from that backside by Manny Sistrunk.
Into the game comes Ken Clark, number 71. Out go Johnson and Sistrunk. Extra back is in, and Burnham is in for Sistrunk. He and Clark are usually in passing situations. They're the good pass rushers. Lee and Washington are now the running backs. Troup 11 for 17, 144 yards now. Dowdy in the slot left for Baltimore. Again, same formation with Washington coming out wide right.
Quick screen.
Ron Lee shakes off one tackle. He was out of bounds. So Burnham did the job. Burnham got just enough to force him out of bounds. Number 67.
Great play.
Glenn Burnham,
Run out of
free
bounds.
agent picked up last year from the Redskins.
You know, he's quite an athlete, Tim. He only goes about 230 pounds and has that pass move coming off the ball a lot like old Deacon Jones had.
Just got enough for Ron Lee there to get him on the sideline. So it is 3rd down and 14 to go.
That guy can back up faster than I can go forward.
And here
That
again,
wasn't hard.
Leaks and Washington, the running backs. A big play. Baltimore is going deep. Roger Carr way out of bounds.
He threw that off his back foot again. He wasn't set, and he looked like his little gun shine that one, Gabe.
Yeah, I think he was looking for the white jersey at that time.
Boos from the crowd for Bill Troup, who's been having a pretty good day here today.
There we go with old Bergie.
That's what you call that 1 yard. When you're inside that 5, you're allowed to hit that guy one time. Boom.
Toronto nothing.
You know, the director of player personnel for the Colts is Freddie Schubach, and his father used to be the trainer, the equipment manager up there for the Eagles. He's sitting down here in front of us rooting on the Colts.
Linhart, attempted field goal is partially blocked, short, wide, and no good. And so the Eagles have held and will take over with now a chance to get the tying score. 11:35 remaining regulation time. Baltimore leads by a score of 14-7. Playing the 12th hole at Firestone Country Club, Hubert Green is still the leader in the final round of the World Series of Golf at 4 under, a stroke ahead of Gil Morgan, 2 up on Tommy Watson. First down, Philadelphia. Remember, we'll be going to the World Series of Golf right at the end of our football telecast. Well, it's tension time now. This is Wilbert Montgomery, and he is running hard. Still going and dragging Lyle Blackwood. He has a first down.
It's no wonder they're happy with this kid the way he's doing it. Gabe, he turns that corner and just keeps those legs driving.
If Woody Peoples could have gained a little momentum coming around that corner, might have gone all the way with this play.
Woody Peoples is 35, you know.
You know, this is his 3rd game right now. He's got 18 carries. And he's got 103 yards for the day so far. And that's 3 weeks in a row he's been over that 100-yard mark, and that's quite a feat.
You know, Carmichael's got an 85-game streak on the line here.
That's right. He has not caught a ball yet.
84 games in a row he's caught at least one pass. It is first down. Philadelphia coming out of their own zone, draw play. Hogan with a big hole. Rambling to the 40, still going. Nettles knocks him out of bounds. And they mark it at the 28-yard line of Baltimore.
Look out, that momentum has changed.
There it is, just a little draw play. People setting up well. The center guy, Marsh. And Wade Key, 72. Nice hole up the middle. They were in that double zone, which takes everybody out.
Everybody out to
Hogan
the
hits that
outside
area.
again.
Here's what I like to see a receiver do. Number 82, Ken Payne, trying to get in the way.
Yeah. That's a 32-yard run by Mike Hogan.
Big first down at the 28 of Baltimore. Tim Ryan with Roman Gabriel and Tom Matty. A very exciting football game. Baltimore led it 14-0 at the half. Got to a scoreless first period with the Eagles threatening to tie it. We have 10:35 remaining regulation time. Jaworski first down complete.
There's number 85 for him.
85 games in a row. Harold Carmichael, a big 6'8" wide receiver, has caught at least one pass.
And it's an absolutely perfect throw, Gabe.
Tommy, watch this action. The Eagles actually set up a quick screen to the right. Carmichael's open, so Jaworski comes down the middle.
Beautiful throw.
First down at the 19-yard line. Into the game comes Norm Thompson for the first time today. The left cornerback who has a knee injury, the regular starter. Mumford comes out.
The Eagles look like a different team now.
Second half, you told me they were going to do it.
Hogan and Montgomery, the running backs. Carmichael wide left. In motion, Montgomery. Hogan gets away from Dutton, but is pulled down at the 12-yard line by Joe Ehrman, number 76.
Jaworski's 10 for 17 right now and 99 yards. He started off slow, but the second half he has really been throwing that ball well.
You know, Tommy, I saw an article where one of the football magazines rated the best receivers, and they rated Carmichael fairly high, but said he wasn't tough. But I'll tell you what, you watch him go downfield and block people.
I saw him knock the safety down that time.
He didn't want to get up for a while.
Nettles back in on the left corner, replacing Thompson, and Harrison playing the right corner for the Colts. 2nd and 7. Montgomery. Simonetti with a good defensive play right at the 10-yard line. He got the yard at the most.
That's
Joe
right.
Ehrman was there as well.
Joe hasn't practiced all week, but he's a tough one. He's part of that sack pack last year that did such a great job, and that little middle linebacker, I can't say enough about it. He's a kind of ball player that moves very well laterally along, and he gets back in the pass defense very well, and he'll stick his head in there. He made a good tackle on that play.
He must have a 200-pound heart.
Your basic big play here, boys. 3rd and 6. Eagles want the major score, not the field goal. Montgomery running hard is swarmed under by Freddie Cook, by Lyle Blackwood, by Darrell Luce, and got only a yard, if that. 4th down.
I don't know about that call. What, 3rd and 8? 3rd and 8, 4th quarter?
I'd have to come out throwing that ball somehow. Either give the option to the quarterback to run it or do something with it.
Yeah.
Well, they may be taking the point of view that the field goal is not bad with 7:52 left, but it's not as good as 7.
It's not as good
And
as
they got to
7.
get it yet. It's Mickemeyer kicking from the 16-yard line. 26-yard try, Shara holding. And it's good. So the margin is down to 4. The Baltimore Colts 14, the Philadelphia Eagles 10, 7:38 to play. Nick Mickemeyer will kick it off, and you can see the statistics here for Philadelphia, and Wilbert Montgomery's been the big man in that top one. Ball taken by Marshall Johnson at the 12. Johnson, number 80, runs into traffic, works his way to the 30, gets loose, and gets all the way to the 35, and I think that ball was still alive. I think the Eagles thought they had him stopped back at the 30. It looks like they're going to mark it up at the 36, 37-yard line.
He just jumped on top of the pile and kept his legs driving again, and they never stopped him. They got him down to the ground.
Warren Middlebrook finally finished him off. John Shara down there squawking to the officials about it, saying, hey, we had him back here 5 yards. But it's going to stay there. It's a good field position for Baltimore.
The Colts have to move that football now.
7:26 remaining regulation time.
Bet you they don't pass.
Leaks and Washington, the running backs. Pitch out, Washington. Good block from Leaks, but good pursuit. LeMaster and Sistrunk and Bunting.
I tell you what, Tom, I don't think I've seen too many strong safeties that will take on an offensive lineman like Randy Logan does.
I tell you, he comes right up there and puts his head in there. You get 250, 260 rolling around that corner, and you weigh about 190 pounds. That ain't gonna work too well.
Wonder how long he'll last doing things like that.
He's going to be shorter. 2nd and 9 after a gain of a yard. Eagle defense really up here. They want to get that ball back. Incomplete. Dowdy dropped it. He does not often do that. Glenn Dowdy, the ball was on the money.
Right on the money. He is not too happy. Anytime you get your hands on it, you catch it, because when you walk back to that huddle, that quarterback has some real nice words to say, don't you?
That's right. That kind of pass you had better catch, or we'll bring somebody in again next week.
3rd down.
You know, we were talking about the Colt defense, and they did a good job on that one. One of the guys that they really miss is Stan White, who's sort of their play caller. Maxie Bowen, the defensive coach, really works at one ball player that he can call those defenses.
Washington. Edwards gets him by the jersey. Washington well short of the 1st down. He got about 4, and so the Colts have to punt immediately.
The Eagles guessed right that time. Baltimore trying to exploit Deke Sanders, but the Eagles were rotating to coverage towards him. Troup had to drop it off to Washington.
Shara will await the punt from David Lee. Shara standing at the 22. There is David Lee, number 49, one of the premier punters in the National Football League.
You know, he was around way back when I was. He came back here, and he came in with the Baltimore Colts in 1966, and in that year, he led the league with about a 49-yard average.
Was he actually that old?
Pretty good return by Shara to the 32-yard line. Stu Odell on the tackle, reserve linebacker. And so the Eagles will start from there. They're trailing by 4. Well, next week on CBS, Atlanta at Pittsburgh, Philadelphia at New England, Washington at Detroit. Our regional telecast, Chicago at Green Bay, Tampa Bay will be in Kansas City. And then the doubleheader games will be one of these 3 in your area. So check your local listings for the time and games in your area. 1st down, Philadelphia.
Got the blitz on again.
Montgomery, look at him run. Boy, he is something special. Close to 10 yards. Let's call it 8.5 maybe when they mark it.
Here's a great shot coming out of the end zone, and you can see these little jitterbug feet moving. He has the option of going where he wants to. Big hole to the inside. Ed Simonemi misses him right there. Keeps those legs driving. Look at him.
Tell you what, Tom, when you can run like they're running against a blitz, you got to have some good offensive people.
They've got to be blowing them off the line of scrimmage.
There's one of the guys doing it. That's Stan Waller's number 75. Sizemore, 76. Peoples and Key, the guards. Good offensive line. We said it earlier. 2nd. Yard and a half. Some movement. Everybody back? I think so. Hogan close to the 1st down yardage.
Montgomery was there.
Simonini.
Smart play, huh?
That's a smart bet, because, boy, he was going up to fill the hole to the inside in there. He knew he blew it, so he took those quick steps up and saw what happened. He just started sprinting to the sideline like going in motion, and it saved the penalty.
Surprised Hogan didn't try to bring him back, because he had to block for Hogan.
They got the 1st down. Philadelphia with 5:09 remaining. They trail by 4. 14 to 10. They have scored all of the points here in the 2nd half. After trailing 14 is it. Carmichael wide right. Jaworski is sacked by Cook. A breakdown there as he started to roll a little right, and I mean the only person he saw was Big Fred Cook.
Nobody even touched him. It's a fake bootleg right there, except Cook didn't go for it. He has an outside charge on that defense and wrestles him to the ground.
That's the one they ran in the 1st half. I don't think you're going to get away with that twice. Which is that one they didn't get away with it.
Calvin O'Neill in as the extra linebacker. Out comes Joe Ehrman. So the Colts in a 3-4, 2nd and long, about 2nd and 16.
Could we look for the double zone going to the tight end down the middle?
I think you might see a little bit of that.
Slot formation right for the Eagles with Smith in the slot. Going down to him today.
Combination.
Jaworski's got time. Carmichael, lots of room. Carmichael still going. Blackwood brings him down at the 18-yard line. Blackwood slipped up in his coverage, although I think Carmichael had him beat anyway. But Blackwood slipped a little. Watch it here.
This is about an 18-yard throw. You have to have good blocking and protection here. Jaworski delivers that ball on the money. Blackwood could have almost been in position to make the play if he hadn't have slipped.
Big play for the Eagles, first down. They mark it at the 19.
44-yard pass play on that one, Tim.
3:45 remaining.
When in trouble, go to your money player.
He's a pretty big target, too.
Well, the Eagles defense on the sidelines over there saying, come on, offense, we did our job. Let's get those points for us. Montgomery inside the 15. Joe Ehrman, Lyle Blackwood on the tackle.
You know, Tim, the one thing that the Colts have had a lot of problems with this year because of injuries in their secondary of both the corner spots. But you take a look at the two interior men, Lyle Blackwood and Bruce Laird. These two safeties are the toughest, I think, two of the toughest guys. Blackwood last year led the AFC in interceptions. These two good guys will turn that corner, stick their head in there, give you 120%.
Nettles and Harrison are the corners right now. Normally would be Muncie and Thompson. So just another of those injury problems for the Colts. This is Montgomery. Montgomery running hard. Montgomery touchdown. Wilbert Montgomery and that offensive line congratulating themselves as they should. Great hole by the tight end Kreftley and the tackle Sizemore.
Let's watch Wade Key pulling to the right side here, leading Montgomery. Key has a fine block. And there's Wilbert Montgomery into the secondary for the score.
Key and People, Sizemore and Kreftley, they all did a great job. 131 yards rushing for Wilbert Montgomery. And the go-ahead touchdown. Shara will hold for the extra point try by Mickemeyer. Flags down. The point after is good. Now it's a question of whether the Colts were drawn offside. They moved, but it may have been that one of the Eagles' offensive linemen drew them over. Pointed fingers are saying so. And it is called motion against the Eagles, so they will have to kick it over again, 5 yards back. 16-14. 2:39 remaining. The Eagles went 68 yards in 6 plays. Used up 3:44 on the clock.
You know, Tommy, you brought up a good point about the Colts running so much double zone. Maybe the reason they are is because their starting corners are hurt, and they don't want them back there trying to, these new guys trying to cover one-on-one.
That's exactly what their defensive philosophy was on that. And they also were, you know, very, very scared of Carmichael. You know, the big man, they wanted to put a double coverage on him on the outside.
Mickemeyer tries again and makes it again. And so with 2:39 on the clock, a 14-yard touchdown run by Wilbert Montgomery has Philadelphia in front, 17-14. Exciting football action here, exciting golf action in Akron, Ohio. And we'll be going there at the conclusion of our game. Hubert Green, Gil Morgan, and Tommy Watson are all now tied for the lead at 2 under par. And that's after 12 holes. The final round. Marshall Johnson from the 10 for Baltimore. Pulled down by number 83, Vince Papale. And Vince Papale, the man they brought back out of retirement. Look at the enthusiasm on that man's part. Great story from St. Joe's University. Came off the Sandlots, the World Football League, to be a 30-year-old rookie. They cut him this year late in camp, and they brought him back with the injury to Wally Henry, and he loves to play.
Well, they love him up in Philadelphia, too, don't they, Jim?
Oh, everywhere you go, that's all people talk about in Philadelphia. Vince Papale.
Well, they can identify. You know, people like to be able to identify with ball players, and here's a guy you can.
Backup wide receiver and a great man on the special teams. Troup will be throwing. In pursuit is Hairston. Berge nails him, and he may have the first down yardage. Looks like he's just short. Not bad scrambling by Troup.
You know, he goes to the ground about as hard as he looks when he runs. Watch this hit by Berge.
That Berge has put a lot of mileage on those football cleats today.
He's been all over this field. Great game.
Second and about a half a yard. A good effort by Bill Troup under pressure. He's out to the 39-yard line. The Colts with 2:20 remaining trail 17-14, and they led 14-0 in this game at halftime. 17 unanswered points by the Eagles in the second half. The Eagles are coming. And Troup just got it away for Leaks, the release man, but it was behind him as storming in was Len Burnham, number 67.
You know, you could almost assure yourself that that might happen, because as a quarterback, when you run 15 yards on a scramble and then add another 10 for going across field, that next play you really don't want to call, especially if you have to pass. You want to rest.
Lee and Washington are the running backs. Now Washington comes out. It'll be Lee and Leaks.
They've got to get this first down. They've got to get the first down now to keep the momentum going. They've got to have it. They got the two big backs in there. Let's see if they can get it.
They got the double tight ends in. Reese McCall, the rookie, joining Matt Ralston. They give it to Ron Lee. Lee has the first down. And look at the block. A flag is down. He's pulled out of bounds by Shara, and Shara ran into a couple of spectators along the sideline, including a young man, a ball boy down there. It took quite a shot as Shara was off balance. Now let's see the play again.
Well, they just run a power with the left guard pulling.
There's
61
the clip.
Pratt.
Dowdy has the clip right there.
Too bad. Lee makes Shara mad here with a little stiff arm. Look out.
Shara hauled him out, and see the little ball boy there. Shara's momentum carried him into the youngster there. It took a pretty good bump.
Clipping, number 35, offense.
The play goes for naught. It was a fine play, but Dowdy a little overeager, made the block from behind, and the clipping makes it third and about 6 yards to go with the ball back at the 34. A tough break for the Colts there as they try to get the go-ahead points again with time winding down. 2:10 left. Regulation time. They need a field goal to tie. Troup, Burnham with the rush. Intended for Washington, incomplete. Good coverage by Deke Sanders, number 26. He arrived at the ball.
Not a whole lot you can do there. Troup might have could have released the ball a little sooner, but he did have Burnham bearing down on him.
You know, just it is a sideline, I realize, but it's kind of a poignant moment. Mike Barnes is down there along the sideline looking at the youngster, the ball boy, who was knocked down, and now Norm Thompson has come down. It's quite a ways from the Colts bench, and just kind of a nice moment in a tense football game. Big Mike Barnes down there making sure the youngster's all right. So Lee will have to punt as the Colts unable to keep the drive alive, and it's a good one. Bouncing at the 15 and rolling into the end zone with Tim Baylor in pursuit. So the Eagles will have first down at their own 20-yard line. They have the lead, but only by 3, and we have 2 minutes remaining regulation time. Well, the Detroit Lions under Monty Clark have really been having their problems, and Green Bay off to a great start. 35-7 in the fourth. And look at this, the Saints giving Los Angeles all they can handle, 26-20 in the fourth period. San Francisco in front of Cincinnati 7-0. They were hoping to have Anderson back in action there today for the Bengals. Oakland leading Chicago 3-0 in the first quarter. And Denver in front of Seattle 7-0. Seahawks will give anybody trouble this year. Much improved football team, along with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Jim Zorn is all over the field. He scrambles like Fran Tarkenton used to.
He sure does, and he throws well on the run, and he can run with the ball.
Well, Tommy, you've been in this situation before. 1 minute and 55 seconds. I'm sure you've heard the quarterback say, hold on to the ball, stay in bounds, don't stop the clock.
That's for sure. There are our boys right in front of us there. Mr. Daly, Mr. Refschneider.
I'd like to thank
Mike
our crew
Albany
here in Baltimore.
Well, we had some great camera shots.
Our spotter, Ron Thomas, our statistician, Roy Ricks. Another good job, as usual. First down, Philadelphia. They are protecting a 3-point lead at their own 20-yard line. Pitch shot, Montgomery, the main man today. And he plows out to the 22-yard line. Joe Ehrman ranging over to make the tackle.
Kid runs through tackles. You just don't arm tackle him. It's too strong from the waist down.
Gain of about 3.5, close to 4. Second down. Darrell Luce comes out. The Colts call a timeout. And so the Eagles will have time to regroup. Colts have just got to try and get that ball back any way they can. They don't want that clock to be used up. 1:46 remaining. Luce comes back in. They've taken that young ball boy off on a stretcher, and we hope that he's not seriously hurt. It was an unfortunate accident with Shara off balance and in momentum.
There's a very nice statistic right there for Wilbert Montgomery. 24 rushes, 135 yards. That's his best production he's ever had. But 3 weeks in a row, Tim, he's been over that 100-yard mark, and that offensive line has got to be credited with doing a great job against what I consider here in Baltimore one of the best defensive lines we've ever had.
No doubt about that. Ball. Second down. Colts got to get the ball. This game is not over by a long shot if they can hold the Eagles here. It looked like Hogan straight ahead. Hogan the ball carrier, and it is Fred Cook and Ed Simonetti combining to stop him. 1:41 on the clock, and it remains a 3-point margin for Philadelphia with third down. So it is third down, about 5 yards to go for the Eagles of Philadelphia, and there is the clock indicating what's left here to play. They have made quite a stirring comeback here in the second half, 17 unanswered points to lead by 3.
Again, here's a key situation for the Colts. Defensively, they have got to stop them now, and they also have to use up that third timeout to be able to get that ball back. Then Troup has got to get that 2-minute offense going, Gabe, and you know how you can run that clock. You got 1:41. If they can get that thing with about 1:25 seconds, that's a lot of time with good field position.
Scored 2 touchdowns in that time.
Carmichael is wide left, is shipped into the I. In motion comes Kane back to the ball. Pitch shot, Montgomery. And the bread and butter play today, and it may be again. Does he have the yardage? Cook.
So flag on the play, though. Flag on the play.
Montgomery battling there, trying to get to that first down marker. And let's see, it is holding Philadelphia. Now, were they short of the first down? That's important. Colts could decline it and make them punt.
I think they've got the first down, so they're going to have to accept that penalty.
Yeah, they have the first down, I think, Tom.
It's right on the line where the marker is, so it would appear that he had first down yardage. So there's a little discussion there. The Colts want to make sure they do the right thing here naturally. And they're going to take it. So it'll be third down again. Ball goes back to the 15.
And they don't have to use a time up either. Here's the official.
Holding number 50, offense.
That's the center, Guy Morris.
All right, in this situation here, Tim, sometimes Vermeil will go to the draw because it is a relatively conservative play, but at the same time it might break. Let's see what happens.
Third down and 15. Wide left comes Tim Payne, number 82. Ron Jaworski coming alive in the second half, doing the job. Wilbert Montgomery, the Russian star. And a great defensive effort.
You called it.
The draw. Roman Gabriel called it, and watch Montgomery break.
Almost broke it. He almost broke it.
Good coverage by the secondary of the Colts after a good running start by Montgomery, Blackwood, and Luce, and Simonetti to make the tackle over there.
You know
So
what?
it is fourth down.
What might be interesting, too, Tom, is talking about the Colts now getting the ball back with 1:20. Will they try to go down the field and hurry and get a score? Or while they're trying to get a score, will they try to run the clock out, too?
Yeah, just to get in field goal position. But how would you I'd like to make a little wager they might be coming after this punt.
I would say they'll be making an effort. Montgomery has now got 144 yards, 25 carries. He's earned his money today.
Yeah, no question.
It won't be long before he's gaining 200 yards the way these guys are blocking for him the way he's running.
The offensive line, you know, the one thing the back always used to do, at least I used to do, Tim, especially if I had a good day like this, is after that ball game, I went over and thanked those offensive linemen, because those are the guys that are in the trenches opening the holes for you, doing the job.
And you used to buy him beer after the game, too.
Right. Amen.
Better be buying the beer. All right, standing at the 10 is Rick Ingalls. He bobbled one earlier. Good snap, good kick, good enough. Johnson at the 40. Let's see what he does. Papali after him. Coming wide, and a good hit inside the 50. First man to hit him was number 49.
Eric Johnson.
Eric Johnson.
1:11 to go, Tim. Let's see what kind of a 2-minute offense they have. In fact, they only have a 1-minute offense right now.
1:11 remaining. The ball at midfield.
You
The
know,
Colts need 3 to tie. Remember, there would be overtime if they can get a field goal.
situation like this, you could go down the field hitting your backs, try to get in the end zone and run the clock out, and the Eagles have no more time.
Lee and Washington are the running backs. Troup has got time. Deep for Carr. Picked up. John Shara, number 21.
Yes.
And he just wants to keep the ball happily. A minute remaining. Carr had not looked up for the ball. The pass seemed to be off target, Roman, regardless, but Carr was not looking back when Troup chucked it. It went right to Shara.
Here they are dropping back. Has plenty of time to throw. 1:11 on the clock. Good field position. There's no need to go this deep on your first play.
Well, that's not his call, though.
Yeah, the only thing I can think of here is that Carr was supposed to go to the post, broke his pattern off, and Troup threw the ball to where he might have should been, but still it's not a bad call. It's not a good call in this situation.
Again, I just want to make the point that these plays are coming from the sidelines in the case of both quarterbacks today, so we can't blame Troup for the judgment. It may have been Carr ran the wrong pattern, as you suggested. Anyway, it is first down Philadelphia with 59 seconds and ticking, and Jaworski does the drop back and dive number.
New formation. Carmichael's lined up 10 yards behind the quarterback. You see that?
Well, they're on the dirt there. He can dig his way into that infield here in the baseball park.
They're at second base.
Baltimore calls timeout. And 33 seconds remaining. So the Philadelphia Eagles will win their third straight game.
Look where Carmichael's lined up, Tim.
It'll be 3-2. Well, that's playing it safe.
It's deeper than the deepest.
15 seconds. A disappointing defeat for the luckless Baltimore Colts. Time will tick off, and that will be it. The Colts will be 1-4. The fickle fans boo them. They led 14-0. Blew it in the second half against 17 unanswered points from the Eagles. And that is the final score. Philadelphia 17, Baltimore 14. Tim Ryan for Roman Gabriel and Tom Addy. So long from Baltimore.